Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Uncut and After Show. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they premiere, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, and this is of particular note if you drive an electric vehicle. Speaking of Patreons, I'm going to do a quick shout out to all of you who do support me on Patreon. So a massive shout out of thanks and appreciation to Sarah Griffiths, Donald Hill, is that a new Patreon? I believe so. Rob H, Ben White, Maximum Gravy, Austin Whitsit, John Kays, DL Hill, Julian Jeremiah, Tommy Swagnett, Michael Kahn, Patrick Gunnels, Banter, Will Brax, Mel B. Styles, Troy Shuker, Bose Nail, Sampson, Maris, Harry Blade, Mobile Max 777, Neo the One, Lost Cat FE, Rob W, Open Minded, Reese Pound, Del West Watson, Mike, Muted, Dick Earth Skeptic, Maria Neelands, Unbelievable Productions, Blue Ridge Ranger, The Real Gabster, Liam Nedrick Jr., Abraham Mohammed, Adrian Quintana, Skeptic936, Life is Short, theflatearthchannel.com, Texas Mike, and David Wayne Foster. So another massive thank you to all of you for supporting me on Patreon. Now I will hand over to whoever is in Discord and Google so you can enjoy their dulcet tones while I set up for today's live show.
I would wish you a happy Thanksgiving, Nathan, but you don't have to.
No. I don't know if you want to pop yourself on mute while you're popping your headphones. Can you pop yourself on mute?
Check.
Yeah. You're all sorted now.
No, I'm in now.
Okay, cool.
Is it good?
Yeah, it seems fine.
Okay, yeah, so I have to put it in the same port that the power, my low battery backup for the phone. So as the phone runs down, I'll take it off and do that and won't talk.
Okay, yeah, it's all sounding great. Hello, Discord. Can we get a hello from one of you?
Hello, Nathan.
Hello, is that Righteous?
Yes.
Hello.
You guys just got here?
What do you mean?
I said you just got here. I asked you if you just got here.
Oh, right, about 5 minutes ago. You all good?
Oh.
You all good?
Yeah, all good.
Well, jolly good.
All good. Yesterday, there was a lot of people staying up late, and there was some drinking, and got a little wild.
What, Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Do you have Thanksgiving Eve then?
No, not me. I'm talking like in Discord, like there were some people that were drinking, right? So when people drink, they get a little excited. That's all. It was just excitement levels.
You mean on the other side of the show where everything happens? You know, we just do a little measly 2 hours, but the real action is when we're not there anymore?
I didn't say that.
I'm having a rib at Hawk.
Why have a rib at Harp?
Maybe because he doesn't have a turkey leg?
Yeah, yesterday he was saying how, you know, they're in the trenches and we don't do nothing. We go off our little show and they're there for hours and days battling. Yeah, well, I don't have that privilege. I have a family to take care of. I gotta work.
All right, I think he was just saying that there's a different perspective. It, like, not necessarily like, whoa on you for not being like that, but it's like there's a different way from what we see compared to what you guys see. Doesn't necessarily mean that you guys' position is bad. You guys follow that?
I
So
almost
kind of
took the
like,
bait, but Brian beat me to it.
say that again?
I said I almost took the bait, but Brian beat me to it.
Brian took the bait. And even like Nathan said he was in the trenches, and some of you guys were in the trenches, and even me, like I don't really participate in that stuff either. Like I just whatever now, you know what I mean? I've had my fill with that stuff. So
It
Right.
started as a trench. It wasn't even a trench. It was just a piece of land we wanted to occupy, and then it turned into a trench. And for the longest time, I was like, "My show's the pits. The chat's the pits. The show itself is the pits. We're dealing with the scum of the earth." And as time progressed, we've stuck our flag in the ground. This is now our territory, right? It's now heavily fortified and heavily defended, and wasn't always here. It's like there's only trenches around this fortress because they've been built while we were here. Before we got here, there wasn't any trenches. There was none dug. We dug them. Go back to look at the old shows if you want to see something familiar for what you guys are experiencing in Discord after this show shuts down, because people know what it is now.
right.
Before they knew what it was, then go back to show 50, 60, 150 and have a look at what it was like then. It'll all ring very familiar if you're in Discord moaning about how you're in the trenches. Yeah.
Exactly, because
say that,
yesterday I
Nick.
got to a point where I was like, "Oh wow, this is just like the old Nathan shows." Oh boy. Anyways, yeah, I
That's
kind
why
of, and you're right. We want to, the way we conduct ourselves and the kind of atmosphere we present, it attracts those sort of people. So if you leave it to be the pits, it's going to attract more of the pits. Follow me? So I kind of came to that realization too. It's like, well, wait a second, we kind of don't want that, right? We want more like well behaved and more like, well, and I'm not saying this to put like others down. Like I'm saying this in the way of like, if we like Legos, we want to talk about Legos. We want to hang around Legos. We don't want somebody talking about Barbies coming to our Lego party, right? It's kind of like that, like to each his own kind of thing.
see the conversation we had the past few days. That's beautiful, baby.
Yeah, and I agree.
Nathan,
I agree. It's in a
you
step in the
notice
right
how,
direction, at least for me.
notice how Nathan didn't say a word with that? Because, like I was going to say, why don't you guys go back to Flat Earth Debate, the first like 200 shows, and see what the heck was going on? I was trying to get that in yesterday, but I give up with this delay.
There comes a stage when you realise that you don't actually need to be involved in any battles. And then you quickly realise that the people you're fighting with are actually chasing after you. This is anti-flat earthers. Now, when you get to the appreciation that they're chasing after you, you suddenly go, hang on a minute, I'm at one with this. I don't need to go out and demand that you accept my worldview. I'm cool with it. But hold on, you need to convince me of yours, so much so you're going to chase me down to do it. Now, isn't that interesting? So who's the one in pain here? Who's the one fighting to keep their worldview alive and make sure it's kept alive by prevalence in the Western world's mindset? Well, it ain't me. I'm cool. Okay, you don't see it as flat. All right, that's fine. Go in peace. Ignore everything we've said about geometric horizons, derivations of R values, sky vacuum, second law of thermodynamics violations. Ignore it all. I don't care. Literally, I don't care. But they do. They care a lot. It's because they're not secure in their religion. That's all it is.
Well, that's what Extremistus was doing. He was trying to say that we both have truths. There's only one truth. There can't be two truths.
Well, they can, but just not in this regard. I thought you were going to expand on that, actually, Neil. In this regard, no, you can't both be flat, stationary, and spherical and spinning. You know, you can't be both. The two are mutually exclusive of one another. You can't have both.
Yeah, that's what I meant. You
Sure.
can have two you, but you can't have two truths.
You have this way of throwing out one or two words and then just stopping, Neil. Yes, you can't throw out one and decide that the other's true, as extremists did yesterday, but then simultaneously say, well, the antithesis is also true. We've all got our beliefs. No. Throwing it out and making it less on you by generalising it out to everybody. We have all got our beliefs. No. You have got a fundy sphere belief.
Yeah, but even Becky the other day, she said, I believe the earth is flat because it tells me in the Bible. So she's on a belief system too. Not unlike a no-so, a truth, a fact. She still has a belief.
That's not my problem either. You know, we disseminate the information in terms of how you can quite happily sit on a very dogged, assured rock of flat earth and have no quibbles about saying to somebody, yeah, okay, fine. If you want to believe you're on a sphere, what makes you think so? Oh, right, horizon's a physical earth curve edge blocking boats and buildings. No, it isn't. Here's how. If the Earth's a sphere, radius 3959, every distance to that geometric sphere edge horizon can be no more than 1.2 times the square root of the observer's height in feet. Here it is, marked with an X, labelled horizon, in your Earth curve mathematics. As soon as we show it beyond that limitation that your geometry must have, then the horizon's no longer Earth curve. And if the horizon's no longer Earth curve, you can no longer measure it to get R. And if you can no longer measure it to get R, you can no longer use that assumption in every single claim to be globe-proof you will ever assert ever. Further to that, the actual way we navigate and measure and show on maps is flat. GPS is using Cartesian, a square box, flat surface. The X, Y, and Z are flat. The world is flat. There's no two ways about it, but feel free to take that as your belief in flat Earth, because you just happen to see it as being flat, and you've got no further argument to back up your belief. Well, at least you can admit that you haven't got enough information to assert it as fact, when at that stage for you, at least, it's belief. It's kind of like the fallacy, in the respect that just because you've used a fallacy to argue something doesn't necessarily make it not true, but you have to actually demonstrate it to be true for that to hold the fallacy label. So to say that my car is red, therefore all cars are red, and my next car will be red, yeah, obviously a fallacious argument. But that doesn't mean to say that my car isn't red and my next car won't be red. Those two statements could still be very much true. So just because they've been used in a fallacy doesn't make them true. Therefore, fallacy. Well, you've got to actually show the other statement to be true. So if somebody's putting forth a fallacious argument for a flat Earth, then that's their bad. But there is good arguments out there. So if someone calls fallacy on them, you can still actually come back and say, well, actually, no, there is a provable argument with logical consistency to show how it is flat, why it is flat, and how it can't be anything other than flat.
I got to ask you a question before you start the show, because I don't know what time it is, but my wife threw this at me yesterday. Same thing with this, there being 24 hours of darkness and 3 months of darkness in the North Pole. And she was showing me these videos of this couple that lives there. How at 12 o'clock, noon, it was dark. Like, what do flat earthers say about that? Does that have anything to do? I mean, it could be, but what does that have to do with Earth being flat?
It doesn't unless you're making a claim about it. So you go, I don't know, I'm not making a claim about this proving a flat Earth. How do you think it doesn't, or how do you think it proves a sphere? And then you have to have them make their argument for how they think it proves a sphere. And as soon as they claim antipodal star positioning on a sphere Earth, you say, well, you're just begging the question. You're just assuming that it's a sphere to explain this.
Yeah, because she wanted to know basically what you would have to say about that. I'm like, we don't make any claims about. I told her about the plumber in Antarctica to watch that video, but she's talking about the North Pole. And I think she said something about the South Pole. Do you even know these places exist?
I'm sure they do, Neil, but the point isn't whether or not I say anything about it. It's her little proof, see, that she's going to come and hopefully present to us as proof of a sphere, and, you know, for more power to you. But what do I say about it? Well, I don't. Did you hear me say anything about it? What's giving you the impression that I was talking about this? Oh, you're talking about it. You think it's a sphere proof. I see. So you think you've got a sphere proof. What have I got to say about it? Well, tell us how it's a sphere proof, then I'll tell you what I've got to say about it.
No, she's not like that. She just, when these things come up, she likes to know what the experts say. I guess you don't consider me an expert, so.
I don't consider myself an expert. Finding out you've been lied to doesn't make you an expert.
Well,
You know what I'm talking about, Nathan.
can I get a word in edgewise?
Sure, I'm done.
All right, thanks.
Go ahead.
Well, this was good. It was a good back and forth there, and so Nathan says, "Well, tell me what. Since I'm not making the claim, what's your claim? Why does this prove a sphere?" And then they'll go with the parroting of what they've been taught, and then you said, and this is where it's a perfect segue to the black swan. So would the sphere have curvature, and where would that curvature start, based on 3959? So once you take away that there's no curvature, well then, okay, it's happening, but it can't be happening on the sphere because you don't have curve where curve's supposed to be if you're a ball.
You know what? That's exactly what I said. So I don't understand why she don't consider me an expert. I brought it to the black swan. I said, whatever's going on there, I don't know. But I do know that we're not on a ball because of the black swan and because of the sextant, that it cannot work on a globe. It can only work on a flat surface.
I think she doesn't believe you're an expert because you're still taking showers in the car.
She's going to be mad at me now. I think, wow. I got to clean the car. Listen, I live in it all week. It's like my hotel room. Clean it.
See, why is it raining in my car? If we're on the globe, why is it raining in my car?
Yeah. If the Earth is flat, then why the heck is it raining in Neil's car?
I'm dying over here. Oh, too much fun, man.
I think it was Brian the other day that was saying that when they start asking those questions, that's a tacit acceptance of the premise that we're on a flat plane in the first instance, because you can't not be asking those questions otherwise.
Oh, no, my wife knows we're on a flat plane, but these things, like when she watches these TikTok videos, I know what happens. Like what used to happen to me when I first, delved into this flat earth, and, I could be easily persuaded sometimes. I'd be like, oh, shoot, they just proved it. I thought the earth was flat. I'm talking the first, few months I was involved in this.
Right, I can relate to that too. There was a few instances that are like, wait a second. I got to double check more carefully kind of thing, right? I don't want to be wrong, right? That kind of thing.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that's due diligence. That's something that is prevalent in flat earthers as a generalization, as much as I hate to make sweeping generalizations about flat earthers. But typically, they must be of the mindset to at least have a little dabble, have a little look, more than a scratch of the surface. Yeah? And those of us that scratch the surface go, oh, bloody hell, and then very quickly see something that affirms our bias and go back into the fold, those are the people on the rocky road to anti-flat earthism. Because then haven't got the due diligence to actually do the research. Just find the quickest, easiest fix.
I like your analogy of we own this ground now, and when we first came, they didn't want to give it up, but the arguments were so good that obviously today we don't have anyone scaling the walls. They're not even coming on the show. So we got this ground, like you said earlier in the show. It's our turf. We've stuck the flag in the ground, and they lost, and now it's spreading because people are catching on to the good arguments. And I could tell that the loved ones I have don't even want to talk about it because they know I'm heavily into studying it, knowing the arguments. And with strangers, it's a lot easier because they don't know that. And I can strike up a conversation with just about anybody, and it's never harsh. They're never harsh. I'm never harsh. And they leave the conversation puzzled because they never thought about it the way we present it.
Yeah, Neil's just a hypomaniac that gets all excited.
No, we're all characters on the show, and no one should be, demonized for being who they are. But we're all after the same goal here.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host, Nathan Oakley, and if you are new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon, and join button if you'd like to become a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member and keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you would like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live, and there's also a PayPal, Patreon, and crypto link in the info box below the video. Also below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy, and this is of particular note if you drive an electric vehicle. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the nature of Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcome back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show on Facebook and Twitter. One last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Neil, Arwin, 10th Man, and a whole bunch of people in Discord. So welcome, one and all.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning.
Your mic sounds absolutely horrendous, truth be told. Can you drop and rejoin again? Hello, good to have you all. Let's try that once more time. Good to have you all.
Good to be here on American Thanksgiving Day.
Hey there, Nathan.
Hello. You know what we call Thanksgiving here?
What do you call Thanksgiving there?
Well, it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Any evidence of a physical...
I didn't celebrate it.
You don't celebrate Thanksgiving?
I didn't this time. Well, I don't know. I'm not even sure. Is it the same time in the States as in Canada? Sometimes some holidays are different in Canada than other parts, so... We may have had it already earlier, but I didn't celebrate it.
I don't
So
know,
it doesn't
eh?
matter.
I don't know what you're talking about.
When you start seeing turkeys at the grocery store, you know it's near.
Good one. That's a good one, Nathan. A boot.
Right, we did see turkeys about like a month earlier, so I think we do have Thanksgivings like about a month earlier.
Wait, I thought it was an American holiday. How does Canada get involved?
Because everyone loves holidays.
Because of advertisement.
Ah, Canada. America's Scotland. Bit like Australians, New Zealand. There's all sorts of them.
Yeah. People like to gobble up more land.
Indeedy do. Any evidence of a physical geometric spheroid horizon, formerly known as Earth curvature?
No, you're going to need R for that, and the Black Swan took care of that. And I say that with confidence because we took their very statements of Earth having 3959 radius and put it to the test. And guess what happened?
You can't use optics to determine the geometry of Earth.
Who said we're using optics?
Well, that's the horizon, isn't it? It's optical.
Oh, no, it's geometric in their view. It's geometric. You know, that thing that casts a shadow on the moon, they say, that's not optical. That should be geometric if that's the reason for the eclipse, right?
Hey, Kent, how did they come up with the 3950?
Oh,
You
Neil.
can't use geometry and optics.
I think, Baldwin, you're missing the point. If you're going to fight for the ball, it has to be geometric.
Only in the math.
So only in the math, a convention, it's geometric. But in reality, what is it, Arwen?
It's optically bent.
Oh, really? Nice try.
Alrighty then. Any evidence of axial rotation of the Earth-based variety?
No, but I wanted to say something. Oh, when you were a little quiet, I didn't hear you, so I apologize.
He is a little quiet. He's just away from his mic, maybe.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's better.
Get closer.
I think he's just optically quiet.
No,
I just
no, that's
wanted to
actual
ask-
distance.
Oh, this
wanted to
actual
ask-
distance.
Terrestrial refraction doesn't apply to sound.
Actual distance quiet. Okay.
Right, shout out to Godzilla37, who consistently now claims I don't read any of his super chats in other people's streams, no less. But I do appreciate your support, and I am extremely grateful, Godzilla37. Thank you very much for the super chat. I'm sorry if I haven't read any other ones. Quit moaning about Canada, or we'll do something about it. Very good.
Speaking about Canada, I found out it's October 10th, Thanksgiving in Canada. So, anyways, just to wrap that up.
I'm going to get this out before the next housekeeping question. My son was asking me, when you say we're using their 3959, who came up with that 10th?
Well, wasn't it credited to Sticks and Shadows and Eratosthenes? And then later Alberuni?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's where they got from then.
Because that's the next thing. They're saying you guys are saying 3959.
Really? Why would a flat earther say 3959?
Because that's what we claim their model is.
We
We
claim their
claim-
model is. What bloody ballwin. He just knows how to push my buttons, doesn't he? We
I know
don't
he
claim
said
that's
it.
what they claim. That is what they claim.
Yesterday.
They do actually claim Earth as a sphere radius 3959. That's their claim. That's not what we claim they claim.
No, but you just discovered a personality paradox because I said we, so it can't be Baldwin. See?
I don't want to get into this psychology. This isn't interesting.
This is crazy. Oh, yeah, Neil, it is their claim. If you have a sphere from the center to the surface is the radius, and they, not us, said that's 3959 and double that to be the diameter. Simple as that.
Any scientific
Well, I'll tell you one
evidence?
thing.
Any scientific
No,
evidence
what?
of gravity? I'm getting it in. God damn it. Any scientific evidence of gravity?
No blasphemy. Let me finish that last
It's
thing.
over there.
If they don't want to claim 3959, welcome to Flat Earth.
Well, it's not that ballers don't want to. It's just they don't really have another choice.
And where was this choice offered at?
Well, it was derived from the sun position, or rather the Earth's position in relation to the sun.
No, you said they don't have another choice. where was the place where they got the first and only choice?
Right there.
No, where? Where did they learn that? Kid doesn't grow up
On the
playing
ball.
Who told them that?
What are you guys babbling about?
Well, Arwen is saying they don't have a choice. They're stuck with 3959. And I'm saying, where was that derived from? Why are they stuck with 3959? Obviously, we have a choice, and we're not stuck on 3959.
Okay, let me just answer. So that's just how they've backwards engineered the celestial movements into an equator. The midpoint, well, that's what they've got as their outside edge of a sphere. Well, the mathematics can only work with that radius in terms of their claimed spin, rotation values, all of it. It can only work on a radius 3959 sphere. That drawn a close, but I didn't expect that to draw a close. I thought someone would challenge me. Fantastic. Any single viable hypothesis from any of the fields of astronomy, cosmology, or astrophysics? Don't all go at once. Tap, tap, tap. Is this thing
Don't
on?
all go on twice. No, all they got is observing something, and they're stuck at that point. They can't do science.
I was being muted.
By yourself?
No, by the browser. I don't know why. My sound suddenly didn't come through anymore.
Whose
But,
browser is it?
What does that have to do with it? I just wanted to say, like, they only have math.
Yeah, we have physics. That would be the physical nature of reality, physics. And they have mathematics, abstract descriptions in language. That's right, Arwen. We have the physics, they have the maths. They claimed their maths was physics, though, didn't they? They called it science.
Well, maths can be physics. Doesn't exclude physics. Right? It can describe physics. Works perfect.
Okay. So where should we see the curvature if the Earth is 3959 radius at a 1 foot observer height?
Well, due to the nature of optics, we wouldn't expect.
No, not math and physics. Where should we see it? It's physical.
Black Swan.
Yeah, but that's optics, right?
No.
We wouldn't expect to see geometric obstruction due to the nature of optics.
So then you never saw it in the first place to get 3959.
That's
And
correct.
why is there a...
It was only ever derived from the celestial positions.
No, the
That's how we
equator
know.
was... No. The Earth curve is still the Earth curve in the maths and asserted to be in physical reality. Regardless of the original derivation, how it's claimed by Globe Earth currently is with their geometry. And they put their geometry up against the optics. They take a picture and put it next to the Earth curve maths. Now, when we say, why haven't you accounted for perspective? They say, well, it's geometric. So you can't say, well, it's based on the optics of the geometry. No, it's just geometry. That's why it doesn't have perspective. That's what we've been told by them. It's in Muppet vision. It doesn't have perspective. The targets don't change in size as they get further away. They stay at their feet and inches or meters values.
Yeah, but
Geometric.
Muppet vision models don't actually apply terrestrial refraction. They show what it is like without it, you see? That's the point.
But terrestrial
It's
refraction...
just geometric. The optics are too complicated.
That's where 10th Man then steps in with his argument point, because then it makes sense. Go ahead, 10th.
If you're going to say you have it, you have to have seen it.
No. He's saying you have to
What?
apply terrestrial refraction to your observation, optical though it may be, of the geometric horizon. Therefore, 7/6 are incorporated into the geometry. Well, no, because you're 7/...
No.
Go ahead.
No, you're right. Go on.
Second attempt.
No, I was going to say, so they're pre-assuming an Earth, and they're already considering 7/6R because they already have a sphere to begin with.
Right, I'm not going to give you a third go. You can't apply 7/6R if you can't get R, because you can't see R, It's a paradox. It's the Arwinian paradox at this point. The moment you apply terrestrial refraction to the geometry, then you're saying we can never see the physical geometric sphere edge to derive r from. It's always refraction, always 7/6r or some derivative thereof. Therefore, you can never get r to derive the 7/6r from, because that's based on the geometric horizon being measured by Al-Biruni.
Well, I understand the argument, but I disagree from a baller perspective. I disagree because just because you can't use optics to
who
measure things
cares?
doesn't mean that you can't establish geometry by other means, mainly deriving them from distances,
not
for
take a-
example.
Let's not take away from how Nathan put that. That was really, really good. The way Nathan put that.
Exactly.
As soon as they say that, they like basically they stuck a fork in it. It's done. It's over.
No,
That's the
only
point.
if you think that optically measuring things is the only way to establish geometry, then you're stuck. Yes.
Yeah, and the way you derive the r value in the first instance, if it cannot be derived because it's derived from geometry, it must be. It's a geometric measurement. So you can't claim refraction when you're measuring the geometry, and that's where you get r. So if you say, well, because the horizon's beyond the limitations of the geometry, it's not actually geometric, it's refracted. But refracted with the geometry, like, you haven't got the geometry anymore. You're explaining why you haven't got the geometry. And your explanation for why you haven't got the geometry is the geometry refracted it. That's how it works, in the most simplistic terms. I haven't got geometry anymore, says the anti-flat earther. Well, if I haven't got the geometry, I'm going to use the geometry to refract the geometry. No, you haven't got the geometry to refract it with. Yeah, but I'm going to use that
Nathan,
r
what-
anyway, even though I can't get it because
No,
it's
but
not
that's not
geometric
true.
anymore. I'm going to use it anyway. I've still got it.
Yeah, you do.
No, you don't.
Terrestrial refraction is the proof.
Okay, that's all right, Arwin. Where'd you get r?
It's right there in the terrestrial refraction formula.
Where'd you get the r
If
bit
it
for the
wasn't
terrestrial?
correct, then terrestrial refraction wouldn't work out.
Don't crap me around, boy. Where'd you get r?
It's derived.
From what? Where's it measured? Not derived. Where's it measured?
Distances.
Pork pies. You're going to have to be a bit less vague
It's
than that, Arwin.
derived from a
Based on
distance.
based on your normal yabbery jabbery, I'm pretty sure you've got nowhere to go now because you're giving one-word answers. I know you've got nowhere to go now. I know this.
No, I
it's been
do.
23
I do.
months.
I do. I'm just saying the same thing over again, and you were ignoring me.
What you said? Distances. What distances to
Yes.
what? The center of the Earth?
No.
Well, what distances?
Distances over the Earth. The distance of the surface.
Over. So we're assuming it's got a bend, and we're assuming we're measuring over it. No, that's begging the question. Next.
What? No?
Yeah,
Begging the
over.
question.
Yeah, over would be over the curve of the Earth that you're assuming. Yes, that's correct. That's begging the question. Next.
No,
You did
that's not
say
what I'm
over.
assuming at all. No. You could think that you're on a straight line, literally looping in on itself. That seems quite surreal to think that. But
okay.
you're going in a straight line.
You're still going to need R
How
for your
else do
assumption
you
of
arrive
geodesics.
back at the same spot?
Geodesics, yeah. Don't
Not
just get
geodesics,
Arwin,
that's
Arwin,
space-time.
please don't turn this into a constant fundy muting session. We're trying to keep this educational. If you just chant through me and rumpus because you're losing, the point isn't made. No one gets to hear the argument. You just know better than a baller at that point. So,
Well, don't politicize what I say then.
Politicize? What are you talking about? Where'd you get the distance? Answer the
Immediately
question.
starting out the sentence with how I'm wrong, even though I'm
How'd you get the
making an argument.
distance? How'd you get the distance? Tell us that. It's an easy question. How'd you get the distance?
You go from one spot to the other.
Okay, and how'd
And
you
you
do that
use
to
a
the
ruler.
center of the Earth? How'd you do that to the center of the Earth?
You don't.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
so any evidence
you
of the
lost.
R value that's being used in this argument to refract something after it's been debunked and can't be measured because the geometric horizon is no more?
You could think of that, but it's still derived from an actual length transversed over the Earth.
Yeah, that's a begging the
Baldwin,
question
what's
fallacy.
the-
I've just covered this. You just shouting me down with no. That's the bit where I'm pointing out that you know better than a baller if you just shout me down when I've won. No, isn't a good enough rebuttal. Over the earth. Traversing over... Yeah, that's begging the question. That's the 4th time. You're just going to chant down no again.
You're just gonna move on and say like, "Oh, you can't do that." Yeah,
What, beg
we
the
can.
question? You
And
can't.
we do.
What, assume Earth's a sphere to derive R from it when you assume that you're going to be making a measurement over a curved sphere surface? Yeah, that's definitely begging the question. That's 5 times. Can't believe I'm having to count them off with you, Arwin.
All right. Well, you don't have a viable alternative though, unless you want to believe that everything is exactly where you see it.
I'm not offering anything. This isn't my claim. What do you mean I haven't got a viable alternative? Where'd you get R?
You got triggered before you let me speak the full sentence. I was actually making a joke.
My bad.
Right? I said, look, you can believe you know what reality is like if you're going to go by the assumption that everything is exactly where you see it to be, right? If you want to believe that, you know?
What?
What joke?
I haven't made any claims. I haven't made a claim that you have to see anything anywhere ever. In this instance, we've just got a question. I'll say it again. Where'd you get R?
It's derived.
Where'd you measure it? God.
We don't.
Start again. Here we go.
You can
What's
only
the 6th
derive it.
time?
You can't measure it. Optics makes that impossible.
So you can't measure R.
That's right. That's what I said.
Right, so you can't measure R. That's the end of R. If you can't measure it, how can you insert it into a presuppositional terrestrial refraction to move the horizon that would have been geometric if you couldn't measure it? Yeah? So you formally got R from that measurement. Now you're saying, well, I know I can't get R from that measurement. We haven't got the geometry. Okay, where do you get the R from? 7th time.
Oh, yeah, we derive it, and then if it pans out, then we must have gotten it right. That's how you come to that conclusion without measuring it, because you don't have the luxury of visually measuring it because of optics making it impossible.
And what's it? Why begging the question of a sphere Earth?
The radius value
Yeah,
of
yeah,
Earth.
the begging the question of a sphere Earth in the first instance. So you derive it after you assume it, and then if it pans out, in other words, if you back engineered it well enough, with what you actually do observe, then you'll assume that you do have a sphere Earth beneath your feet, like you assumed in the first instance when you tried to match it to the things that didn't or did pad out, right? That's a fantasy.
Yes, now
That's
you're
just
getting it.
Just a fantasy. Just
no,
a fantasy
no, you
then.
finally got it right.
Oh,
You
my bad.
finally got it.
I see.
That's
So
what-
it's
that's
all
how you're
good
supposed to
so
do
long
it.
as you assume it, and then you go forth to try and verify your assumption. And when you do verify your assumption, you say, see, I was right all along.
Exactly.
Wow.
You're finally getting it.
Wow. I feel
Isn't
so
that the
privileged.
reason why QE used that picture, that particular picture, so they can say refraction, and then they could stick a fork in themselves?
Yeah. Arwin wanted to stick the fork into himself 7 times in this instance, though. To the point where we've got a game to say, well, yeah, I just need you to get me to say that it is actually a fantasy begging the question, do-si-do. Then I'll say yeah.
I don't need to repeat it anymore because you already explained that you exactly understand how this works.
Even with-
Owen.
Even with Arwin pretending to be an anti-flat earther, his dialed down, diluted version still took 7 attempts at the point of the win. Now, in a few shows ago, we were saying flat earthers don't know when they've won. Well, that's true, but the anti-flat earthers get away with it because they can just say no, like Arwin just did. Well, if you haven't got an R value and you can't measure an R value and there's no way of getting it optically, then how are you going to optically refract something that is formally claimed to be geometric with the R value? Answer, I assume Earth's a sphere. That's the answer. So you go, okay, that's a begging the question fallacy. So anything else? I said next. Still got 6 more attempts by a pretending to be a globe proponent, anti-flat earther, Arwin. So you can see that in the wild, wild west that is the internet and debate about this subject, your anti-flat earther will just deny flat out that you've won. And if you're not supremely confident in where you've won, how you've won, you will just move on. And at that point, the audience and everyone around you probably won't even pick up on the fact that you won.
Yes, Right. So if you have a problem with Occam's razor, right? If it just seems like a globe and you measure it like a globe, well, and the calculations pan out, well, it's most likely a globe, right? So if you disagree with Occam's razor, yeah, then there's nothing more I can do.
Not Occam's razor. That's just been repackaged as Occam's razor when it's a begging the question fallacy. Relabeling it. Yeah. Can we end this now? It's getting a bit tedious. No, seriously, Arwen.
All right.
It's the eighth circle. Relabeling a begging the question fallacy as Occam's razor. No, it isn't. Bloody hellfire. Let's move on. Any scientific evidence of gravity? Oh, we covered that already. Any evidence of a molten iron core at the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth?
Well, if you consider Occam's razor, no.
Yeah,
no
that's
such
not
thing.
going to cut deep enough, I'm afraid.
No such thing. And you can't get it without an R, so no such thing.
This is the best a man can get. Come on.
Petrified wood. Petrified wood from the moon proves there's a molten iron core.
Petrified. Oh, gosh.
Any evidence we can have gas pressure without the necessary antecedent of a container to press upon?
No evidence, but we do get a lot of hot air from Baldwin right now.
Hey, no.
Yes.
I'm done.
Yes. Hot air.
No,
Making
I
up
made
stuff.
my case for art today.
You make
all
up stuff as you
conceded,
go,
so I'm
as
good.
Baldwin. You've been making up stuff since the beginning. It's all made up stuff.
A
As
week
for proof,
ago.
you go to a razor.
I'm going to let the audience in on something now. It's simmered down.
I'm sorry you don't appreciate my creativity, Dan.
About
Well,
a week
as long
ago,
as-
after one of the after show finishes, I just dropped from the call and get on with life. But several panel members took Arwen to one side and were like, "Look, right, you're taking the piss. You can't keep the ball going through Baldwin 6 or 7, like he's done today." Right, that's why I bring it up, because I'm using it as an example, so you don't have to have a rewind session looking for where he does this, which is always where he'll play baller too much, and something got told off by fellow panel members, didn't you, Arwen? I wasn't there, I just heard about it secondhand.
Oh, you mean on Mitchell's?
I don't know about Mitchell's. It was I was told it was after the fact here.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. I do remember yesterday. I also went on Mitchell's for a bit to also do a Baldwin.
No, I heard. I
So,
tuned in. Good stuff. It was like it was a call-in show, right?
Yeah,
No, it's good stuff. I enjoyed it,
that was
as
great.
I do always with Mitchell shows. Have we covered everything? Any evidence of the distance to the sun?
It's over there. I can see it. Whatever
No.
it is.
No distance to that beautiful light in the sky.
Is that it? Did I cover everything?
Pretty much.
Gravity?
I covered gravity, single viable hypothesis, axial rotation, Earth curve. I think I covered them all. Hey, we finished housekeeping. I'll do my plug like I did yesterday. Please share the show. Got about 70 people watching, although it's fairly early doors for this show. I know it's early over in the States. Nevertheless, this is the tip of the spear in terms of flat Earth information. And it'd be nice if there was a few more people watching. The only reason we've got nearly 80 people watching is because the people who are watching have shared the show. So my biggest appreciation goes out to those of you who have smashed that share button. Thank you very much indeed for doing so. It really is appreciated. That's the only reason we've got an audience, as this show doesn't get widely publicised by the platform itself. So please share the show, smash the button if you haven't done so already.
Can I share some good news?
You can share some good news.
Yeah, my bubble sextant arrived yesterday.
Woohoo!
Yeah, it needs a little work, but it looks in pretty good shape. But I have a website and a YouTube channel that shows every step how to clean it, make it work, and so forth. So that's going to be my next project.
Right. Sure, I look forward to seeing that.
Yep.
Hey, Brian.
Hello.
Oh, it's just down the way. Now I've come back up the way to say hello. No, clearly not.
Well, as long as
Hey
you got
everyone, hey
structural
Nathan.
support.
Sorry, I'm just can't talk for a minute.
No worries.
I got you, Brian. As long as you got structural support, you can go up the way and down the way.
I'll say this again. For the last wee while, I've been waiting with bated breath for a couple of people to come in seeking Bitcoin for globe proof, but they still haven't turned up. So we can only speculate, and so far we've speculated that they've figured out where they're going, tuned into the show and gone, I don't think so. Or they've tuned into the show and gone, obviously a few obstacles to overcome. Better get doing a bit of homework. Who knows? But typically they come a couple of days after I get the heads up. Whereas in this instance, unless I'm missing something, maybe that's something I should say. If you do try to join and the live stream part of the show is full, there's a queue. In other words, we can stick you in from the live stream queue in Discord. So just join that bit of the show, and then someone will move you across and take you off mute in due course, even if the room's full. Just so you know,
Wow.
if you are trying to get in and you're failing, not that the room's full at the moment, there's 3 spaces.
Come and claim your prize. Baldwin just tried it a while ago.
There's more than just, claiming you've got a globe proof to it. You've got to actually follow the preset conditions by David in terms of what you do on the app. So for a start, you've got to download the app. And I think there's something you have to do for a week, like consistently look at something, or I don't know. You'd have to check with DITRH, but yeah. Yeah, claim your Bitcoin, whoever you are. I've forgotten what their names are. I'm sure they'd be familiar if they popped into the chat, though.
Well, it's interesting because you don't have to mine for it. 99% of the world believes you live on the thing. And all you got to do is come in here and prove it, and you get your 3 Bitcoins. I mean, this is the easiest way to get Bitcoin.
You would think we'd be inundated. But like I say, if you've got a reasonable head on your shoulders, you'd at least check where you were going to go before you went there. You'd recce the place, right? You guys do that?
You'd have to.
A recce?
You'd have to do reconnaissance.
Exactly. So you go around, you have a little sniff around, have a little look, see what you're going to be dealing with prior to you having to deal with it.
Yeah, but that's what turned the ballers into anti-flat earthers. They can't deal with it.
Now, the problem is they think they could just come in and that's got to be easy. Everybody knows the earth is a sphere. Let me go get some Bitcoin. And then they come into the den of hippos.
Yeah, that is kind of how it seems from an outside perception. To the uninitiated, it's like hippos. Oh, look at those guys. Look how docile they are. Oh, you stupid hippos. Should you throw rocks at them? Yeah, let's throw rocks at them. In fact, let's get some bricks. Let's throw bricks at those hippos. Yeah, that sounds like fun. Oh, hippos. Hippo, by the way, flat earther. Oi, take this brick to the face. Oh no, it's coming at me with massive teeth. Run! I'm not going back there. They've got big, massive teeth. It's not fair. We should have all the advantages.
You got me laughing with all that.
True. They need to chase us down to convince us of their worldview. Us not aligning with their worldview means that consensus doesn't agree with them because they can see a part of the world that doesn't. And they need it to be a consensus viewpoint because that's what they're living in. They're living in a consensus science. And if they haven't got that, suddenly they need to fight to get it back. And we fly in the face of it. So we're an insult to them.
Yeah, and then they play that other psychological game. We're calling us science deniers when they're the ones denying the scientific method. You know how they flip that all the time.
Yeah, said it on Ballbusters. The whole thing was a bluff. They bluffed that they got science, When they told us that we just don't understand geometry, that was a big fat bluff too. When it got down to the nitty-gritty of it, they started denying basic triangles. It's funny. It's amusing. But the whole time, they didn't have anything. They claimed to have everything. They didn't. It was a big bluff.
I never thought that the institutions and the people who wrapped science around the globe belief would one day say science doesn't prove things, when they've got whole universities with departments in various types of science, and it's all about proving things. At least it is from the onset, until you ask the questions. And then to have the empirical part of it, you have to go through the scientific method. Well, they don't like that, because when you take their claims through any scientific method, if you even could do it, because it's got to be naturally observed phenomenon, etc., it doesn't pan out for them. So they like to use the word, get mileage from it, but never adhere to the disciplines of it.
Yeah. All the people who are regulars, the regular anti-flat earthers that have been around for a while, yeah? Let's call them first wave anti-flat earthers. Well, they now yearn for the days of old. The days where they could come on a platform like this and tell us that the, quote, whole body of science proves we're on a sphere, and then tell us that we're idiots. Now, in 2021, moving through 2022, we're the ones telling them what idiots they are when they deny our triangle works. And it's clear to an audience when we tell them in no uncertain terms you don't understand basic geometry. That is true. Now, back in 2015, with a convoluted gaggle screw of earth curve mathematics begging the question proof of nothing, perspective hijacking curve calculators with horizons that are currently being denied as even being capable of being seen, back then you could tell us that we're idiots and science proved everything that your worldview held dear. Now, not a single soul comes here anymore telling us that science proves they're on a sphere. They wouldn't dare, because they get ripped a new asshole right quick, and they know it. So, the whole body of science, imagine if it was so convenient to come like you did 3-4 years ago and tell us that, oh, body of science proves you're on a sphere. Yeah, those were the days, weren't they, lads? Not anymore. Now you need to deny science even proves anything. Absolutely pathetic. So we piss in the face of your globe faith, and you know it. We're an insult to everything you stand for, and you hate us for it. Meanwhile, we don't give a crap about you. Well, I don't. I can't speak for everyone. Hey, Adam.
Wow, a lot of technical issues here, huh?
I don't think so. I think people just join and bugger off. People have got lives, though, to be fair. Adam does have a full-time career saving people's lives and stuff. But god damn it, when I speak to you on this show, you better be on that mic button. Clearly not. Busy, busy, busy.
Well, who do we got in Discord we can say hi to?
Hold on. To be fair, they were saying science doesn't prove things way before the flat earth debate came out. Trust me.
Got my wife's boyfriend in there.
Yeah, what's up?
How's it going?
Going good, man. I'm at work, so I can't be talking much.
Fair enough.
It's only a job. You can get another one. Speak.
You say demanding, Neil.
Just keep it flat,
Such
guys.
passion. Good to have you.
Where do you stand anyway? On a flat earth or a sphere earth?
On his 2 feet, what do you think?
Are those 2 feet arcing or are they flat? Oh,
He's got Dr. Dr. Scholl's inserts. It doesn't matter if he's got an arc.
No, I just figured it out. Earth is flat. All the cops are flat-footed.
Okay. What I was going to talk to Adam about was the She-Ra excerpt from yesterday. I trimmed that out So I listened to the show back. I thought yesterday's show was really good. So I listened to it all. And at the end of it, I was like, yes, there's lots of reasonably concise descriptions of various aspects of the subject. But the bit that most entertained me was She-Ra. The bit about She-Ra. And there was some flat earth, and they were talking. The whole point of the discussion is pointing out that, when Einstein superseded Newton in name only gravity, there's a misconception that somehow, well, because it's new, obviously both are real. This is the new version of the old one that is now superseded and not real, and the new one that isn't real either is also real and better real because it's new, right? So you got She-Ra in a spaceship, and I compared that to, teleporting with a sword or whatever magical wonders that they had in He-Man by comparison in the 80s. So that's got trimmed out. So I'll publish that probably on Saturday.
Yeah,
So,
yesterday was a good show.
yeah, but more interesting that the most trim-worthy bit was the bit about She-Ra. So I had to send. I was doing it when I was out and about, so I found all the photos that I wanted, like without having the editing process having even started. I was just like, I know roughly what we talked about, so I went and found a few photos. And the only way I can easily just send them to my iPad was to send them to somebody on Skype and then just get them off them later. So I sent them to Adam. I'm just like sending all these pictures with no explanation. He's just getting all these pictures arriving in his Skype account. He's like, asked me, why are you sending me all these gay photos? I'm like, yeah, it's for a video I'm making.
I did wonder what it was for. What I did think, though, I did put, Nate, I was listening on the way home in the car as you was describing it. 'Cause I used to love a bit of He-Man and She-Ra, and I didn't remember any of that. But when you show me the pictures, they're new ones, aren't they? And yeah, my goodness, it was very woke, wasn't it?
I think that's common knowledge. It's when I started searching for those photos, one of the things I noticed was every second comment was criticising it for being too lesbian or for being too woke or for being too this or for being too that. And, we're not the first to be criticising it for it. So it's obviously common knowledge. I mean, I have no idea when it was actually first released. But not being a television owner and, recently coming into a free Netflix account, suddenly there's things I'm looking at that perhaps wouldn't have even interested me. But yeah, this is certainly not, it's old news in that regard. But my interest in it is certainly new because it's not been criticised in the past for its links to space. And the fact that 2/3 or halfway through the show, suddenly it transitions purely to a space show. It went from a story about a land with magic being part of that land and the princesses that run the land and their connection and unity within the land is what gives the land its power and all the rest of it, to no other way of putting this but lesbians in space. That's what it turned into. So yeah, be here or be sphere for that. I'll release that little excerpt on Saturday. I haven't trimmed anything out. I just kept the video concise and just put photos to it, the ones that you saw, Adam. Didn't actually require a great deal of editing.
I'm looking forward to that because I hated that show.
Say again.
No, I watched it a couple of months ago with my daughter and my son. And initially it was, oh, okay, let's watch it. Let's see what's happening. And then it just went totally the other way. And I was like, why do you have to take it there?
Yeah, I agree. It started out really well. It sucked me in. And both of my daughters really enjoyed it for I'm going to say the first half. And about the halfway mark, my eldest daughter just completely lost interest.
Exactly the same experience.
Yeah, I'm glad I watched it through to the end to see just how lesbian they went with it. And very, very lesbian was the answer.
Yep. I'm looking forward to the trim out. I couldn't watch the show yesterday, but I'm going to look forward to the trim out of you guys yesterday.
It's only 10 minutes long. My favourite part is where Chocolate joins. And he's like, I only disappeared for 10 minutes. Now we're talking about He-Man. This is brilliant.
I love the He-Man stories. I grew up in the 80s, so yeah.
That is the demographic and age group as an average for the panel and the viewership. So, if you're a child of the 80s, I've got love for you also, Calvin Harris. But yeah, I think a lot of us were either born in the 80s or, 10 years either side of that. And that's certainly the audience we're getting. Those are the people watching.
I was a teenager in the 80s. Does that count?
Yeah, I said 10 years either side.
I have the power!
You had 6 kids by then, though, didn't you, Neil?
No, only 2. Started in 87.
Good stuff.
Nathan, you said you listened to Mitchell's show yesterday.
I did.
Yeah, interesting how it was an open call show format and no one was calling in. So Baldwin came in. So it looks like this current group of anti-flat earthers and maybe even ballers, I think their expired date is arriving soon. They're either going to go to some other topic or just disappear entirely, because the arguments have been so good, they come here and get walloped, which means that there's been no recruiting for the next level to replace them.
Right.
So I think the show's done its work. So, kudos to everybody who's extinguishing them, so to speak.
Well, I called this probably a year ago, before we labelled them anti-flat earthers, and before we got any affirmation that they were burning out. We just started saying share your pain. We were just starting to realise that they were the ones in pain, not us. Who's chewing? That's 10th man. I've completely lost my track now, thanks to that little disruption.
Just adjusting my earbud.
Shout out to James Richard. If science doesn't prove things, why get vaccinated? Trust the science. Yeah, trust the science. Apply the science. Follow the science. Good advice.
So you were calling this a while back ago about share your pain, you were saying?
I said that there'll be a massive lull in terms of the people who understand the argument. In other words, the people who've been around, the anti-flat earthers that have been on the scene for a while. They'll get less and less and less and less. It'll get quieter and quieter and quieter. And it'll reach a point where we're talking about, I didn't think it would descend to He-Man. I really didn't. But I think I guessed something like we'd be talking about aliens or the Matrix or whatever, a movie, as opposed to a 1980s cartoon. But there we go. And there'll be someone who just happens to listen. They'll tune in and go, my God, these flat earthers are completely unchecked. They're talking complete nonsense. They not realise we all know the whole body of science proves we're on a sphere. And they'll pile in, that individual, and go, hi, I was just listening to the show. You're all flat earthers, are you? And it'll be like, yes, who are you? That's how it'll go from then on in. It'll be actual globe believers that stumble across the show, because all the anti-flat earthers have completely given up. So when that normie stumbles on the show, I finally get what I actually hoped the show would be from day one. You think the Earth's sphere? Come and have a little chat on here and we'll have a little discussion about it. We'll have a little debate. We'll see who's got the best argument for whether or not we're on a sphere. And that's how it should be. Now, the fact that it disseminated into anti-flat earthers fighting against both us and their original globe claim wasn't ever something I ever anticipated. But obviously, if you've got an entire Western world view prevalent in the most people's minds, they're going to want to defend it when they can't stand the idea of bracing against consensus. They're all conformist normies. And the fact that they've stumbled into this subject means that they can't be conformist normies anymore unless they fight to retain that position. So they fight. But they'll get sick of it eventually. They've all got burnt out. That's the bottom line here. Me, I'm like, I'll do this indefinitely. As long as there's a Western worldview that we're on a sphere, which is totally incorrect, and an outrageous claim that is in no way proven, I'll still have a show. Now, they're under the misapprehension that because they're not coming in arguing the toss about anti-flat earth rhetoric that goes against a ball, i.e. we wouldn't expect to see spin, we wouldn't expect to see earth curve. No, lads, when it disseminates to the point where you're telling us we wouldn't expect to see earth curve at the horizon, you're just on our side, just a bit of an irritation while you're on our side, and telling yourselves you're on their side, the normie side. So you're just the one most in pain here. That's your anti-flat earther that I'm talking to. They're in serious pain, telling the world how we don't expect to see Earth curve and we don't expect to see spin, and here's examples of things not drifting when the globe claims 15 degrees an hour of it. All those sorts of things. That's going to burn you out right quick. And it has. So like I say, I thought, great, we can have a nice, calm... I love the shows at the moment. I actually look forward to the shows. Not that I don't anyway and always have. More at the moment than I have previously. I'm getting set up at 1 o'clock. Admittedly, that started off because I've got a whole load of technical issues that extends the time of setup. But like with anything, I've figured my workarounds and I've now got my routine down, and I don't need to start at 1 o'clock anymore. But I do, because I'm enjoying these shows. They're really good fun. Why? Well, because we get to actually talk about the details of what we're claiming, argue about some of the semantics, and have a bit of a laugh about He-Man. I mean, what? This is like, I'm in heaven at the moment. This is a great show. Please share the show.
Speaking of great shows, Mitchell put out Globers Against Globers. Did you see that?
It doesn't ring a bell. Maybe.
Well, he was playing anti-flat earthers against.
Yeah, I did. Yes, I did. Yes, that was great. I was almost tempted to mirror it.
I mean, we can just sit back and relax. All we got to do is play those two guys against each other.
Yeah, exactly. It's reached the point. We were pointing it out on the show as by pointing out that they're going against their own globe argument. And I tried to do something similar. He's actually taken the video I did that was similar and just made it much better, because as time moves on, you get more and more examples of anti-flat earthers making declarative statements that go against the globe claim. So you just need to play NDT making a globe claim and then an anti-flat earther telling the audience how wrong it is. Like, yeah, we now cite you as hostile witnesses, anti-flat earthers. All you're doing is digging the hole for the globe deeper. Now, originally, I'm sure it was set up in such a way that we were supposed to waste our time arguing about how there shouldn't be drift and telling them how they're supposed to be claiming that there should be. There probably wasn't ever an anticipation that we'd just get to the point where, no, we're cool with this. Yeah, you want to believe in drift that isn't supposed to be there, but we wouldn't expect to see and still occurs at 15 degrees an hour. You go away with your cognitive dissonance. That's not going to affect me. Yeah, try and project it onto me. Chase me down to project it onto me. Whatever. Water off a duck's back. Doesn't affect me one iota. But I'll plod on. That's normal. That's not going to affect me. For them, on the flip side of that coin, it's deeply affecting them, and they're telling us we're getting hurt. We hear on the grapevine all the time about how people have burnt out in the anti-flat earth community. It's just too much. Even if they're doing it in a very small way, it's still too much for them to burden. Well,
yeah, but why did it get that way? It got that way because the arguments have been so refined that they lose against the arguments. So instead of doing the right thing, which is saying, you know what? You proved that we don't live on a sphere. What they do is they attack their very own belief of a sphere from an anti-flat Earth side to the globers, saying, we never claimed the horizon was Earth curve. We never claimed any of these things. Oh, okay. So what basically, if you're standing on the side watching this, as we have, you just saw them give up the globe because the arguments can't be beat. And then they go and start making up stuff against the people who actually are in that belief and say, no, don't say that anymore because these arguments are so good. We got to say we never seen it to begin with.
It's all in there.
They become Judas. I'm sure he is.
You there, Owen? Probably at the shop. What I was going to make was, if you seen Owen's show today, he's drained. He looked. I said to him, "You look really flat." Excuse the pun, and I didn't mean it in that way. After spending the night being Baldwin, I don't know. He seems quite drained this morning, and I was going to ask him, it was a great show performance from him last night as Baldwin. I don't think I could do it at that level of consistency and to keep it up that well. And I just wonder, how does it make you feel to put yourself in that state where you are constantly lying to yourself and twisting and contorting ways of seeing things so that you can make a statement of semi-believable truth to yourself?
Good question.
He's not here.
Well, it happened. He came on the show and continued this morning, and Nathan went around 7 times refuting him, and finally we had to call it off.
I think where Adam's going with this is, even if you are playing devil's advocate, that is still very draining, mentally very draining. So, for example, when we were out at the Isle of Man, or looking at the Isle of Man from some bees, and we've just captured some imagery, while everyone else is all excited about it and wants to publish it there and then, I'm the one person going, no, here's how I think the Globe will try and defeat this argument. And it was, a couple of solid hours of me having to put myself in the position of a boiler and come up with objections to this footage. And it was very, very, very draining. I'd have much rather have been the one going, yeah, it's publish it, proof Earth's flat, because everyone's pissed. But I didn't see it that way. I thought, no, you need to put your opponent's head on and try and visualize or try and attempt to argue it from their perspective. But it's hard. And Arwin, when he does it, this is how at least Adam prefaced this little interlude, this little bit, was by saying, you look drained. In other words, it takes it out of you, even when you know you're just playing a part. When you're doing it to try and retain your paradigm, the stakes are higher. So which do you think's going to be more draining? Baldwin playing an anti-flat earther and just chanting no when the devastating claim comes his way 7 times? It's just playing that. Or the guy who's saying no 7 times, more like 50, when he's defending his worldview that he wants to keep hold of. Stakes are much higher for that guy. Well, cognitively, that's a lot more stress to be under. I think that's your point, right, Adam?
Exactly. That's what I was going to lead Owen to. So at the end of that show, he goes, I'm done. And he hasn't got to reconcile anything past that point. He's done with all his mental juggling to keep the ball and can go to bed knowing it's flat, doesn't he? But that's not the case for these people that are having this real cognitive pain, and I just found that quite telling that, I mean, like I said, he did a great job, but he was noticeably and admitting it. And I think at one point at 1:30, he went, I'm going to end the show. I just don't feel it. So, yeah, I think that was quite telling on Owen. And as you allude to, it's be a great example of what they are going through. Because how else do you keep doing it? And more importantly, when the show ends, they've got to keep doing it for themselves.
Yeah,
Well, they need a big break.
It's a cause of insomnia. I keep referencing this, and it'll always be my reference, all done with third-party projection on the part of conspiracy cats when discussing it with Haunted House. Well, you go to bed contemplating, well, if it was true, and they had lied, what else would they have lied about? Obviously, they haven't lied about the Earth being a sphere, so I'm confident that everything else I believe in mandatorily is also true too, and I don't need to concern myself about it. I'm going to go to sleep. La, 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 la. Let's not think about it.
Well, then it just happened recently with Bob the fallacy guy when we asked him to define what a radius was, a straight line. He said, okay, so the radius from the GP of a star to the observer is a straight line. He says, no. So one minute he says it's a straight line, and the next minute he says no to his own answer. That would be very disturbing on your mind after you hang up, for sure.
Shout out to James Richard, who says, I got an idea. Instead of trust science, in quotes, how about, in quotes, show us the science, end quote, open brackets, data experiment. Glober, trust the science, Flatty, wants to see or do the science. Sorry, I can't get over that BS. Exactly. Thank you for the super chat, James Richard. Really appreciate the support. Zoom, 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 zoom. It'll appear in a minute. Why has it gone silent? All I'm doing is putting a super chat up. There it is.
I don't know.
There's a little glitch in space-time there. Pretend it didn't happen. So thank you very much for the super chat, James Richard. Really appreciate the support. Thank you very much for your crackly mic, 10th man. Really appreciate the disturbance.
Well, you wanted some sound. I figured I'd flip a few pages.
Another tactic. It's one of the things they do on the Globe Earth side when they're losing. Just cause a load of audio chaos. Twiddle their jack for their mic in the connection a little bit.
Hang on, let me see if I can replay one of those moments. What's a right angle? Excuse me, I got something's happening with my internet. Sorry.
What was the one thing a guy claimed? I'm sure he claimed within a space of about 15 seconds that there was a complete blackout. He'd lost all internet and power, and then got it all connected and back on again. And that was within 15 seconds. That's the kind of lies they tell when they're up against the wall. I wasn't here, power cut.
Yeah, that was funny.
Been a few people drop by Discord that haven't said a word. I'll drop in. Some of them even stay on server deafen for a time. And then they disappear again. You're like, why do they come? What's the point?
I mean, people have all kinds of reasons for coming. One, they come to see what's going to happen. The other ones come to see if they spot a weakness. And maybe, I mean, I'm just putting myself into the different shoes that I'm trying to explain here. So another one is like, can these guys' arguments ever be beaten? And maybe I should learn them if you're on the flat earth side. So you got so many different personalities with so many, different reasons. But the one standing out is if you're in Discord and you could talk, what keeps you from talking wherever you are on the position, whether you're on first base, third base, or rounding home on the argument? Say something, get involved. This is what the show is set up for. But when they stay silent, I think they're cautious, obviously, because they're not confident to move on.
Shout out to Al Junkie, says Al Bruni owes Al Junkie bitcoins for his Globe BS. Right on. With that, though, I'm going to say, if you are watching this on either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley premiering streams, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. Unfortunately, if you are watching this live, this is where we bid you farewell. So a huge, massive, enormous thank you to all of you who shared the show, smashed the super chat, smashed the PayPal link, liked, commented, subscribed, all that good stuff. I've been Nathan Oakley. Stay tuned if you're watching on a premiering stream, and I'll see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!
Quiet mode. Hello, Discord.
Happy Thanksgiving, guys.
Hey,
Oh, yeah,
thank
it's
you. Happy
Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving.
That's why. People are busy. People are doing things today. That's fair enough.
People
Say again, Virus?
say Happy Turkey Day, people.
Happy Turkey
Happy Thanksgiving,
Day, indeed.
Virus.
Happy Thursday for you and I in Britain.
It's because you don't have a turkey.
I've got turkey. That don't make it what it is.
He does have a turkey. Virus is his turkey.
Oh, happy Thanksgiving, Virus. Hope you have a good day.
Thank you. Same to you. You too,
welcome.
Neil.
Same to you, turkey.
Did you listen to the last
Gobble,
little
gobble.
section we were describing anti-flat earth pain, Virus? Would you agree or disagree with any of it?
From the perspective of somebody I could be talking about, I disagree.
I meant you.
Yeah, for me, I disagree. I mean, there's no pain.
There's no mental contemplation of this subject.
Well, yeah, of course. I always, because y'all challenged me, so of course I always think about it afterwards.
I don't.
Me either.
I do. I mean, I'm always curious. I question everything. So yeah, I'm always thinking about stuff we talk about and stuff too. So
Well,
Fair
that's
enough.
interesting. It's interesting you're saying that. So when you say radius line is straight, and we have a radius line from the GP of a star to the observer, shouldn't that be straight the whole distance?
the star to the observer. I mean, yeah.
No. The star, if you understand the conversation over the last few months, is at a direct spot over the Earth somewhere at a 90 degree. So its zenith is over that part of the Earth. You might be way over here on the Earth somewhere else using an angle measuring device to get the angular distance. When you use the sextant, you are shooting the angle to that star from where you are. So they have it in their drawings that the star is the center of a circle of equal altitude. And you, the observer, are somewhere on that circle. And until you do a second sighting, maybe even a third, you can't get a fix or triangulate your position. But basically, all three would have a circle. You're somewhere on the circle where the circles cross is where you are, and that's how you triangulate and get a fix. But all three have a radius from the middle of the circle to the observer. And you've already agreed a radius line is straight. So wouldn't that make it straight on the surface of the Earth?
Okay, if you want my like real explanation of that, literally, I wouldn't call it a radius, but I want to say they call it a radius because they want you to assume that everything is flat. So they call it a radius.
Okay. Who's they? Who wants me to
Let's see.
assume everything is flat?
Um, the navigators, celestial navigators. It makes it easier for people to envision the surface of a sphere flat if you're small enough.
Say that again?
It's safe to assume that you live on something flat if you're small enough on the surface of a sphere. And it makes things a lot
Small
easier and
and
less
what do
complicated.
you consider small enough on the sphere versus where you can't use the small enough excuse? Like how many nautical miles from that center would you have to be before you'd have to abandon the flat argument?
What do you mean? How many miles
Well,
away from the center?
well,
I don't get it.
you just said that the celestial navigators, which are they,
Uh-huh.
are assuming that it's a small enough area you could assume it flat. Isn't that what you just said?
No, not a small enough area where you are literally small enough on the surface of the earth to where it can appear flat. It will make it easier for you to just assume flatness before you make corrections.
No. I think you got this wrong. When you're shooting the sextant to a star, shooting a star, that radius, the GP of that star could be 3, 4, 5,000 miles from you. And that's an angular measurement to it in nautical miles converted later. So you're talking about 5,000 miles of flat, straight. How do you overcome that with a globe surface before I get to the next point?
Okay, so who agrees with the whole flat thing? What you just because I don't think the circle of equal altitude is flat whatsoever. I think the
All right.
LOP is all at one elevation, but yeah, circle equal altitude isn't flat.
All right. What is a sextant's only job? What can it only do?
Get relative angles.
It's an angle measuring what?
Device.
Instrument. Yeah, instrument device. It's an angle measuring device. So, Virus, an angle is two straight lines meeting in the corner, creating a vertex, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, that's two yeses. The next one should be easy. So if it's an angle measuring device and you've got an angle and it's claimed to be a right angle from the GP of the star to the observer anywhere on that circle where you're going to find your line of position, that's a right angle with the adjacent being flat. That's your radius. How do you get around that?
I'm gonna say, if y'all call that a radius, that's fine with me.
No, I don't call it a
Call the distance
radius.
to the GP.
No, no. Don't put words in my mouth. This is the people who believe in the globe, who write the books
I
on
know.
celestial navigation. They call it a radius.
I know.
And,
That's
and,
why I
and
explained what I explained earlier, that it's probably easy for them to assume that everything's flat. And if everything's flat,
okay,
you
all right,
can
all right,
specifically call it
all
a
right.
radius.
All right, so one more time. It's easier what? Just say that once more, Virus.
Sometimes it's easier to assume that everything is flat, so that way people don't overthink things.
Okay, no worries. I'll trim that out and remind you of that next time you claim that it's a sphere. And it'd be far easier to assume it was a sphere if it was a sphere, Virus. It doesn't make things simpler to assume things that aren't the thing they are or aren't the thing they are. That makes things harder. So assuming it's flat makes it easier. That's because it's flat. And this device, as you've conceded, wouldn't work otherwise, would it?
Yeah, it still would. I mean, it literally.
Angle measuring device. How'd you get a curved adjacent?
Okay, it literally works the same on both models.
How'd you get a
Results
curved
are the only
adjacent?
thing
That's
they do.
twice. How'd you get a curved adjacent? If it's an angle measuring device, that's two straight lines. If it's measuring it on a sphere, it needs a curved adjacent. How'd you get a curved adjacent for your assertion that it works the same on both?
At the vertices where they meet is where there will be
A
the
curved
straightest.
adjacent doesn't have a
You can make
vertices.
your-
A curved adjacent
let-
does not... Stop. Stop.
Let me finish.
Stop. Stop. A curved adjacent does not have a vertices. So when you say, no, they're the same on a sphere or on a flat surface, no. A curved adjacent doesn't have a vertices. So why are you launching into how a vertices would work? It doesn't. You don't have one on a sphere. You can't have a curved adjacent. Only works on a flat surface. That's 3 times. Hello?
Okay, and this is the
Where'd
third
you
one.
get a
That's the
curved
third-
adjacent for a vertices? You want to answer that? For
Okay,
it to
this
work on a sphere,
This is the second time I'm telling you. Where the vertices meet is the straightest they're going to be. You can make your angle from that. If the rest of the line just
no, you can't. Not on a curved surface. You can't get a vertices from a curved adjacent. That is the 4th time I have said it.
okay, and this is going.
Okay. Is this that okay like last time, dickhead? Yeah, the okay. Yeah, you can't get a vertices from a curved surface. That kind of okay.
Can I suggest something? How about we?
You can suggest to my salty balls are slapping around your face for the 5th time when I say for the 5th time that you cannot get a vertices from a curved adjacent. 5th time.
You provide your proof, I'll provide mine. How about that?
5th time. You're going to acknowledge that you cannot claim that they're both the same and you can get a vertices from a curved adjacent. That would be how you'd operate this tool on a curved surface. You wouldn't have 2 straight lines. You could chant through it.
No,
6th attempt. Chant through it. Chant through it.
You will have.
Chant through it. Gonna start calling you
You will
my
have-
bitch shortly. Shortly gonna get named my bitch if you keep chanting through the end of this 6 times I've tried. Virus. Coward. So, I'll try a 7th time. Let's see if this chanting muppet is gonna accept that he cannot claim that these two things work the same on a curved or flat surface when it's an angle measuring device has been led to concede and then made it explicitly clear that it's far easier to assume that you must have a straight line to get a right angle to the GP of a star. Yeah, easier. It can only work that way. And if you say, well, it's the same on a sphere, how'd you get a curved adjacent? That's 8 times. I'll tell you the answer before we get to 10. You don't. It can't work on a sphere. You can't get a vertices from a curved surface. You need 2 straight lines, not 1 curved, 1 straight. So this tool does not work on a sphere. It's not that it's easier to assume that your sphere is flat. It just is, and wouldn't work if it wasn't. It's 8 times. Can't get a curved adjacent.
Are you done?
What, winning?
You're done winning, so you're ready to lose now?
Where'd you get a curved adjacent? That's 9 times. You're going to give me the answer and tell me that you could just kind of pretend that the beginning of the curved adjacent is a vertices. That's what you've given me so far. You're going to repeat that?
No, where the angle is, where the two lines meet, is the most important part when it comes to getting the angle. And
Two straight
plus,
lines, yeah?
before
Two
you
straight
make
lines. Yeah, for an angle, two straight. Yeah, for
before
an angle, two straight lines. We've covered that. Your curved surface doesn't give you that, Virus. That's 9 times. Your curved surface won't give you that. 9 times.
I appreciate you chatting through me. I really appreciate that. So, anyway, like I was saying before you make the corrections to your measurements, your line of
Measurement of what?
sight is straight as it
Measurement of
is.
what?
So
Measurement
that's
of
what
what?
you're using.
Measurement of what?
Sextant.
2 straight lines for an angle. It's an angle measuring device, so we've got straight lines then. So you haven't given us your curved adjacent for a curve. You're going to chant through me, bitch. Yeah, you're telling us about how you make a measurement. You didn't say of what. It was of 2 straight lines, though. Yeah, you couldn't do that on a spherical surface because you'd have a curved adjacent. That's 10 times.
Yes, you can. You can literally
Oh,
do
tell
that
us
because
how.
your line
Okay.
of sight is-
Okay. Tell us how
Are
you
you
get.
just gonna chat, Nathan?
Yeah, chant for me, bitch. Tell us how you get a curved adjacent. That's 11 times.
Can you let me finish at least?
No, you started telling us about measuring it. And then when I asked it, what's it, you told us it was 2 straight lines. So given that I'm saying, where'd you get 2 straight lines if you've got a curved adjacent? The answer is you don't. But now on the 12th time of you not conceding this devastating loss, my win, the thing you asked about, yeah, me winning. Am I done winning? No, it seems I'm not done winning. Because you're not done chanting through my win.
Okay, that's fine. You can win.
No, it's not fine. It's your fucking loss, dick brain. It's you losing. You're just a scumbag weasel anti-flat earther who will constantly deny your loss and tell me, am I done? What, done teabagging you, Fundy?
You don't want to listen to me.
What, tell you that you
Virus.
can measure it being an angle when I'm asking you where you get that angle if you've got a curved surface for an adjacent? Yeah, I am listening.
I told you.
Oh, where'd you
Yeah,
get
I
it?
told you already. Your line of
Yeah, you said you measure it, and I asked what it was. It was 2 straight lines, so that wasn't it. When you told me it wasn't a curved adjacent.
Thanks
How
for
do you
chatting through me,
measure it?
Nathan.
How do you measure?
What's the
13
sextant?
times.
The sextant is the angle where you get the angle measurements
All
from.
right, that's 2 straight lines. They're not a curved adjacent. They're not a curved surface beneath it then, so not working on a sphere then. That's the 14th time.
Okay, and every single time I've
Okay, and every single time you don't concede that that's the end of the globe Earth then, because you can't get a curved adjacent to measure an angle with a sextant. 14 times.
line of sight is straight.
So welcome to flat Earth. Not a curved adjacent then, which is what you'd have to have on a curved surface. So there you go, chanting through me again. Middle of my sentence. 15th attempt for him to chant through it, because it's devastating. Ask me if I'm done, as you chant through the devastating fact that you can't get an angle from a curved surface meeting a straight line, as you'd have on a curved Earth. You need 2 straight lines. This is a flat Earth tool measuring 2 straight lines. You can't use it on a sphere.
So that's why you chant through people. Okay.
You said
makes
that
sense.
last time.
Well, he's still doing it.
And sorry, is this you
Virus,
giving me
what
the
c-
curved adjacent that you need to explain and I've asked for 15 times? Where'd you get an angle, a vertex, from a curved line meeting a straight line? And you say, when you measure it, so far that's your explanation. We've had it 3 or 4 times. But when I summarise it, you chant through me, and when I bitch about you chanting through me, you then project that straight back onto me, Virus.
Because you never let me finish.
Oh, right, you've had a really, really good go of telling me that when you measure it, this is my 4th summary of what I've listened to, that you've given me already. You said, when I measure it, and I had to stop you and ask you what it was. And it was 2 straight lines measured with a sextant. I'm asking you where you get a curved adjacent. That would be what you'd have on a curved Earth. 15 times later, I apparently don't listen and don't let you speak. I heard you.
Okay, there's a misunderstanding. Let me ask this instead. Let me just
What,
ask this.
you're gonna ask
When
me
you're
a question
using-
when you're being asked how you get a curved adjacent for a sextant and you don't? You think it's time for a question of me after 15 attempts? No, it's time for you to concede your fundy sphere belief.
When you use a sextant, what line is curved?
None of them. It's an angle measuring device, 2 straight lines, so can't work on a sphere. Welcome to flat Earth.
You did not hear my question.
You say which line is curved? None of them. It's an angle measuring device was my answer. I heard your question.
No, finish.
Yeah, so meanwhile, we haven't got a curved adjacent like you'd have on a sphere Earth, but this little question that I've answered now is just a red herring for the 16 times that he hasn't conceded his globe Earth loss. He's told us that it's easier on a flat Earth. Yeah, you'd need to have two straight lines for a sextant to work. Yeah, it'd have to be flat. But he hasn't told us how it would work, as he claimed at the beginning of this. It was same on a sphere? No, it would have a curved adjacent. 17 times.
You didn't answer my question.
Sorry, it's going to turn into I didn't answer your question now. When you ask me which line with the sextant's curved and I say none of them, it's two straight lines, and I have answered, you just think that you're going to chant that I haven't answered your question to segue away from the 18 repetitions of the fact you can't get a curved adjacent for this angle that doesn't have any curves when you're measuring two straight lines with a sextant, the thing I did answer. Yeah, that little trick's not going to work either. It's still going to be 19 repetitions of your loss. Yeah, you can be damn straight that you think about this after you leave here, Virus. Meanwhile, I don't give it a second thought, sunshine. Yeah, this doesn't faze me. I know I'm right. I don't need to give this any thought after I leave this show. You're going to ponder on this indefinitely, though, aren't you, Fundy?
No,
Yeah, well, you told us you would, because that's what you said earlier. We established, you lying shit, that you ponder this. I don't. Neither does anybody else on the panel, but you do. We know you are a liar. So when I say you're damn well sure you're going to ponder this 19th repetition that you can't get a curved adjacent as you chant through every single word of it, you think you're not going to ponder this, do you, as you chant straight through the middle of it?
No, I'm not. I'm going to...
No, you are chanting straight through the middle of it. I've shut your line down so the audience doesn't have to tolerate you chanting through me. Maybe you'd like to project how you're not chanting through me.
No,
Go on, project that I'm not letting you speak when you start your sentence in the middle of mine.
you just asked a question.
Yeah, where'd you get a curved adjacent?
Where's the curve adjacent?
For a two straight line measuring angle device that's called a sextant that would have to have a curved bottom line if it was measuring it on a sphere. It can't. That's the point. 20 attempts. 20 times.
Before the corrections?
Before the correction? Sorry, a sextant's not sentient. It doesn't go, I'm going to correct something. It just measures an angle.
What
Nobody said that,
corrections,
Nathan.
Virus?
That's
What
stupid.
corrections, please? I want to know.
The dip correction, the semi-diameter, the refraction. I mean, there's more. You got index. Well, I'm not talking about the one like the index, correction stuff. I'm
Well,
talking
hang
about
on,
that.
hang on.
Sorry, you didn't mention any globe corrections. You said refraction, you said dip. Nothing, no globe correction to take into account then.
That makes no sense, Nate.
Sorry, no globe correction? I hear you say, of course there's a globe correction. It's easier to do on a flat Earth, but we have to correct for the globe, right? I didn't hear that cross your lips, Dumbo.
Because it won't.
Oh, so it doesn't do any globe correction. It just is easier and functions perfectly well on a flat surface. That's how the tool works.
Anti-flat.
Second virus. What's the
What's a
Hoyt-Avoid
globe
correction? What's the
What'd you say?
Hoyt-Avoid correction?
He hasn't answered me
You know
yet.
what that is?
Sorry, we're going to
Okay.
segue on to his little question. Where'd you get a curved adjacent? If you're measuring two straight lines on a sphere, that's not possible. You need a curved
Where's the
adjacent.
curved
There's no
adjacent?
such thing.
Where
He's
is
now
it?
chanting through the 21st repetition because he almost got some of the panel on his little hook, didn't he? Yeah, no. There's been 21 repetitions. Every single one of them like this one with your light flashing away while I repeat it for the 21st time. There you go. Yeah, you pop yourself on mute while I repeat it for the 21st time. You can't get a curved adjacent. 21 times is too many to ask it as a question. Now it'll be stated an outright fact of life. A cum virus makes it plain. Easier, fact, works on a flat plane. Yeah, it's easier that way. Yeah, fact, it can't work on a curved surface because then you'd have a curved adjacent. Not a thing. Not something you'll get a vertex from. Not the it that he's measuring when he doesn't mention the two straight lines that he isn't getting a curved adjacent from. Something you'd have to have on a sphere. So after 21 repetitions, this is the end of a virus's argument. Not let's segue on to what dip correction is. No. There is no curved adjacent. You've lost, virus. So now I'm not going to move away and no one else on the panel is going to take a little hook that you've thrown out while you're reaching for the straws drowning. No. 21 times it's been put to you that you cannot get a curved adjacent for a sextant. That's the end of your argument. Sextants don't work on a sphere, virus.
I'll talk now. Are you good?
Sorry, do you want to mutter as you die on the ground bleeding? Mutter for me, dying man. Your globe claim, you said it was the same on both. Wrong! You hear me, shit for brains? Your stupid claim was taken apart 21 times with you chanting through every single rendition of it. Yeah, now it's being declared as a win for me. You lost. 2 straight lines, that's what sextants measure. Only works on a flat plane, and even you, by your own admission, say it's easier to do it on a flat plane, but then simultaneously claim it works the same on both. It doesn't. I had to point that out to you 21 times. Yeah, you'll be sure to think about this after the show ends, won't you, Virus? Like you told us earlier. You'll ponder this loss.
No, I won't.
No, you're lying when you tell us that you ponder this stuff greatly, like you told us earlier.
No, I didn't.
No, you weren't pondering it greatly, like you told us earlier. You're laughing up, you lying fuck! You will ponder it, because I've just teabagged your dumbass with your stupid assertion that you can use a sextant on a sphere, and you are wrong. That's why you got a flat earth teabag. You understand me? Laughing it up, are you? Yeah, you will ponder this. I assure you, I live rent-free in all you fuckwits' heads when I tell you a sextant doesn't work on a sphere 21 times, with you just saying, nah, you're not listening to me, nah, you're chanting through me, like you're doing right now, Virus.
Hold on.
Hold on. I need to chant through every word of this. No, not hold on, mate. It's just you chanting your painful death while I teabag you. You understand, boy?
Literally, I want to literally tell you what I'm going to ponder.
I don't give a fuck what you want, you stuttering moron.
I wasn't stuttering.
Yeah, you were, bitch. You were stuttering because you've just been teabagged for your nonsense, and it's taken 21 attempts after your own concession that it's easier on a flat plane. What, to measure 2 straight lines? No, it's a necessity, my friend. And then 21 attempts of you can't use a curved adjacent for an angle later. You're telling me, oh, well, I just want to mumble and mumble. Yeah, you've lost.
Where is the curve adjacent?
There isn't one. That's right, that'll be my argument. The same question I asked you 21 times. Maybe if you throw my own question back at me, it'll be like you won with that question. Maybe if you chant through me pointing out that that's my question you've just asked there, the one you lost with 21 times. Maybe it'll become your question that you win with, you delusional fuckwit.
You brought it up.
Yeah, no shit, because it doesn't work on a sphere now, does it? You can't get an angle from a curved adjacent. That would be how you'd need to use this tool on a sphere, though, wouldn't it be? Yeah, that would be the 22nd time I've pointed out my winning argument. And what do you know, while I point out my winning argument for the 22nd time, there's Virus chanting straight through it. Right, Virus? Maybe you need to make me a question while I'm pointing out for the 22nd time that you've lost. With the same argument, you're chanting through again. There you are chanting through it, Virus. Is this painful? Maybe you'd like to lie about how this won't be pondered afterwards.
It won't.
No, it won't. That's why it requires such a high pitch.
No, just because...
No. I'll tone it down a bit because I've been pointed out how telling my tone is.
It has nothing to do with anything.
Yeah, it has everything to do with the fact that you do ponder this stuff and we all live rent-free in your heads because we've got the winning argument. You have got a denial 22 times with chanting through the repetition of the devastating claim you've lost. Oh, it works the same on a sphere, does it? How'd you get an angle from a curved adjacent? That would be 23 times. Yeah? You've had it stated to us by yourself that it works better on a flat plane?
It's curved adjacent.
Yeah, you're still chanting through it when it's 24 times. You can't bear to hear it. It's too painful. Yeah? Now, I know that bits and pieces have got through the top of you chanting through the 25 repetitions of your loss. Little bits have got through this chanting that you're doing right now, Virus. And I know that you need to chant through it because you can detect that it's going to be a 26 repetition, that you can't get an angle from a curved adjacent.
A curved adjacent?
Yeah, there isn't such a thing, my friend. Yeah. Curved adjacent for an angle. Yeah.
I don't think he knows where he is anymore. I think he's just completely lost.
Yeah, but he's not going to think about this afterwards. He's going to go about his merry day knowing he's on a sphere after this devastating loss and 25 repetitions of how he's lost and why he's lost. Maybe he'll go away thinking, I'm sure I asked Nathan about curved adjacents. Because you did once, didn't you, Virus? This is really your argument.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You don't know what I'm talking about because you've chanted through every single repetition of it. You've literally chanted through the middle of every single repetition of the devastating argument that you'd rather not hear. Bless you.
I can hear it just fine.
Oh, really? When you're talking straight through the top of it? Yeah, my audience can hear it just fine. I just look at your light and know damn well that while I'm in the middle of a sentence and your line's closed, that you've started talking.
I can still hear you.
Oh, that's nice. You can hear how badly you've lost then, can't you, Virus?
Yeah, you're not making sense.
Yeah, oh, no, it's just not making sense. When you told us that it works better on a flat plane, does that bit not make sense, your explanation to us?
That literally makes sense.
Oh, well, that's good. Welcome to Flat Earth, because you can't use a sextant with a curved adjacent to get an angle. That's how it'd work on a sphere, though.
Show me this curved adjacent that you're talking about.
No, there isn't one. That's what a sphere would have. A curved line meeting a straight line adjacent to it. It's kind of clue is in the title. Maybe it's because you were chanting through every single one of the 26 attempts I made to convince a complete fundy that his straight line measuring device won't work on a sphere. You know, that's going to be chanted straight through the middle of. And then you're going to suddenly play dumb. I don't understand. None of this makes any sense to me.
Yeah, because I wasn't the one to bring that into the conversation.
Yeah, it'd be far better if I'd have let maybe Brian argue with you about dip angle, rather than pointing out that you can't get two straight lines with a curved adjacent. Yeah, maybe 27 attempts of that. It would be better if you just played dumb and didn't acknowledge it in any way. That would be the devastating loss that you suffered. It would be better if we'd have segued on to dip angle, wouldn't it, Virus?
No, that's not my argument.
Oh, well, my argument is that you can't get a straight line meeting a curved line and have that give you a vertices to measure an angle with. That would be how a sextant would need to work if it was on a sphere. That's the 27th repetition of that argument.
Show me.
Instead of being all confused.
Sorry, show you.
And
it's a geometric
disoriented,
principle
why
that
didn't
you
make a
told
point?
us. And when you told us that you gave it as a justification for why it's easier on a flat plane, that would be the fact that you need two straight lines to measure an angle. So why would I tell it to you when I'm using your own words as my hostile witness to that fact you conceded? I need to make the argument back that you made to me, do I, Virus? No, you made it to us, and yet you still think it's necessary to chant through the 26 attempts, 27 because one of them definitely got through to you.
You're just repeating the same thing.
Yeah, that's right. I'll repeat it indefinitely while you try and segue away, throw out a few hooks that hopefully my panel will latch onto, and ignore the fact that the sextant doesn't work on a sphere. You can't use a curved adjacent to get an angle from a sextant. It needs two straight lines. The ones that make it easier, the flat plane you said made it easier. Remember?
Yeah.
Yes, so that's your loss. That's where the globe died. Can't use a sextant on a globe, it would have a curved adjacent.
No, it wouldn't.
Oh, it wouldn't? So you're saying that when you've got a curved surface beneath your feet that your sextant's measuring the straight line that produces, are you? No. Curved surfaces, globe Earths. It's easier to work on a flat plane, Virus. You told us that.
Okay, that is.
You're going to mutter for me there? Maybe a few mutteries?
Ask him something.
Go on, then.
So, Akumu, are you making a very sloppy attempt to actually explain how the sextant works with terrestrial refraction? Because if you are, you're making a complete mess of it and just playing this stupid game like, oh, I'm disoriented. I don't know what we're talking about anymore. Is that your claim? Well, it's just stupid. It doesn't work. You're not actually displaying that you understand what's going on, Akumu. You're not making a case for your side of the argument this way. You gotta put something down. You gotta explain what it actually is you're claiming.
Well, I haven't really had the chance to explain what it is that I'm explaining. I mean, I don't get through with it. So it's really hard to get it out when I keep getting talked over.
I see.
I mean, I would
Okay, because it's so difficult, Virus. Yeah. So if I summarize when you described measuring it, remember that?
Yeah. What about it?
Remember me asking you what it was?
Nah.
Oh, you don't?
But you want to.
You don't remember telling me that it was a sextant measurement? You don't remember that? I remember it. Wow, it means you really are just going to lie about what you have actually got to manage to claim here and what's been ripped apart. You just didn't get to say that, right? You didn't get to say it, right? Liar? Scumbag? Fuckwit? Liar? Hello?
What about it?
So you remember me asking you what it was? This was where you lied last time. Let's see if he's now a bit more truthful about what he has got to argue. It was a sextant measurement. Comprende? Remember? Maybe forgotten. Amnesia, right?
What about it?
Oh, what about it? Well, that'd be 2 straight lines there, Virus. That's where your argument died on its arse. Because if it was on a curved surface, you'd have, let me guess, let me see, it's at 28 times there, Virus. A curved adjacent.
And I keep telling you, I don't know where you're getting that.
Yeah, you don't know what I'm talking about. It's only been 28 attempts. You don't know what I'm talking about. Just play dumb when you lose. You won't be thinking about it afterwards. You didn't know what I was talking about. Neither did the audience, Virus, because your 28 attempts to rumpus the shit out of the repetition of your loss was really successful. Every time you chanted, everyone got to hear it. Yeah, none of them got a concise summary of how you lost 29 times. No, your chanting really worked well. You projecting that chanting straight onto me afterwards, that worked well too, Virus. And then you telling us that you really didn't understand 29 repetitions of the same argument that you lost with. And then when you came to justify it, the thing that you lied about not getting a chance to say, you described measuring it. And that it was the 2 straight lines you lost with. You were just vague and non-specific, and then got roasted by me when you did make that argument you lied about not getting a chance to make. So now we've all got to grips on the circumstances and how you have made your argument, and I have heard it, and I have refuted it, and I have ripped your ass through your own throat, and then teabagged you as you lie dying. That's what's happened, Virus. It's been 30 times that you've been told you can't get a curved adjacent on a sphere surface. You need 2 straight lines. That's the it in your argument you claimed you didn't get to make. Are we all up to speed now, you fucking idiot?
Just repeated the same damn thing over and over.
What, my absolute annihilation of your claim that pretty much works the same on a sphere? Well, no, you can't get a curved adjacent to give you an angle. What, I'm going to keep repeating that while you just tell me you don't understand? Yeah, I will. That's right. I'll give you something to think about tonight, Virus, won't I?
What's wrong with you, Virus? It's measured on a flat surface. You think it's working on a sphere. It's measured on a flat surface. You can't measure it on a sphere. What are you not getting?
Not getting, he told us that. He told us how much easier it was to measure this on a flat surface. Just easier.
Yes.
Why can't you measure this on a
Sorry, why am I not measuring it on a circle? What are you talking about, Virus? Why would you ask me that? I'm not claiming we would be measuring it on a sphere.
I didn't ask you that. I did not ask you that.
And why aren't you telling me about how you can't get a curved adjacent? This is now 30 attempts. With you going, oh, I don't really understand. I've suddenly got really thick. You think it's time for a question for you after 30 attempts? Do you think that just dropping it in will all give up on asking you the same question about how the sextant doesn't work on a sphere because you can't use a curved adjacent for an angle?
That's not my argument.
It's my argument. The one you ignored 30 times?
I didn't ignore it. I answered it.
Oh, really? By telling us that you measure it, and when I ask you what it is, it's the 2 straight lines you measure with a sextant. Yeah, that's where you died again. It wasn't an address, it was refuted by me. Did you not notice? Oh, yeah, you thought you weren't getting your argument through, even though it was actually refuted by me several times. Right, Virus?
You didn't.
Oh, I didn't? I didn't ask what it was 3 minutes ago when you lied about not getting your argument through. I didn't do that. It wasn't 2 straight lines measured with a sextant. Maybe you should chant through the 3rd repetition of how you did make your argument, and when now you claim you've refuted my repetition of my rebuttal? 30-time arguments? No, Virus. You did get to refute it or attempt to, and you claimed you measured it. I clarified it was 2 straight lines you measured with a sextant, though, didn't I? Remember? Third time.
2 straight lines is your line.
Yeah, that would not be a curved adjacent like you'd have on a sphere, though, would it, Virus?
You wouldn't have that on a sphere.
What, curved adjacent? Yeah, you would. Not what you can measure with a sextant, though. Definitely would have a curved adjacent if you were on a spherical surface. Yeah, that's just not what you measure with a sextant. It's 31 attempts of pointing out the exact same argument to you. Do you understand it now? It's still thick, maybe. Maybe claim you're thick. Or go completely silent. It's only when I talk that you'd prefer to chant straight through the middle of the 31 attempts to point out that if you're measuring 2 straight lines with an angle measuring device, you're not doing that with 1 straight line and a curved surface beneath your feet. This tool doesn't work on a spherical surface because you can't get an angle from a curved adjacent. That is 32 times I've repeated this argument to you, Virus.
Why are you doing this, Virus? I went past this stage after only 3 times asking, and then we moved on to the logical conclusion.
7.
Right? Why are you keeping stuck on this and just making Nathan repeat himself over and over again? It's really annoying.
That's up to him to repeat himself. I got what he was saying a long time ago. He didn't have to repeat it so many.
Oh, so when you said you didn't understand and it didn't make any sense, you were just lying. You got it ages ago. You just had me repeat it 32 times because you understood it and then you didn't understand it and it was very confusing. You don't even seem to understand whether or not you're confused. Are you confused or do you understand it entirely, you stupid idiot?
I told you not to do that. You
don't tell me what to do there, Virus. I'll do as I please as I teabag you 32 times. With your curved adjacent that you'd have on a sphere and your declaration that it's much easier on a flat surface to measure 2 straight lines. Yeah, you'd have to be.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, fine. Welcome to Flat Earth. Yeah, fine is the tacit acceptance that you've lost. Yeah, fine is I won't be thinking about this later. This devastating loss, right, Virus?
No, I always think about your tactics.
Yeah, always think about my tactics. You think telling you that a curved adjacent won't give you an angle is a tactic or a winning argument?
No, it's the way.
No, isn't an answer when it was 2 positions you had to give a choice of. Is saying that a curved adjacent cannot be attained for a straight line angle measuring device, i.e. on a sphere, is that a tactic or a winning argument?
That's more of a tactic.
More of a tactic to position an argument about whether or not you can get curved angles to give you vertices? That doesn't seem like a tactic. That seems like a very devastating winning argument to me. Who thinks it's a tactic? Hands up.
Yeah, Nathan, I think it's a tactic. It's the tactic of asking the same question over and over again when it's being ignored. That's your tactic.
Oh, terrible tactic. What? Winning? Not having my winning argument acknowledged 32 times? That's his tactic. Just ignore the devastating destruction of my claim. Focus very much minimally on the fact he's disclaimed that this works easier on a flat Earth, and when asked how it couldn't work on a sphere, tell you that you're simultaneously confused and understand every word of it, right, Virus?
You didn't understand nothing I said earlier. That's so funny. You know why I said that it's easier for people to understand it if they assume that it was flat, right? It's because it's easier for people's minds to work better in 2D than it does 3D.
And how do you do it in 3D with a curved adjacent, Virus?
You don't need a curved adjacent when
you don't need one. No, you can't have one. It's not that you don't need one. You'd have one on a curved Earth, and you need it to be 2 straight lines to measure an angle.
Yeah, your line of sight.
Line of sight to the horizon. So welcome to Flat Earth. We've got a flat, straight line of sight to the horizon. Well, that's fantastic.
Yes, it's
Haven't you learned anything?
Yeah.
Haven't you learned anything from the last time when you said that?
What'd you say, Tenth?
Haven't you learned anything from the last time you said you need a straight line to the horizon?
I mean, y'all didn't prove me wrong.
A black swan.
Really? Really? Here, I'll prove you wrong right here.
It's on screen right now.
If you give me the chance to me 2
baby.
questions.
No,
Black
I'll
swan.
prove you wrong right here.
Hello, black
Right
swan.
angle.
Hello,
Right
you need
angle.
a straight line, the apparent straight line, you don't have one on a sphere, Virus. That's pretty much the same argument I made 32 times. Yeah, you need a straight line to do this. The apparent straight line you're describing to the horizon. Yeah. Your line to your horizon is a globe Earth horizon with a curved line to it. So you can't do this on a sphere. That's 33 times I've repeated this argument. And you know what Virus is doing while I'm repeating it for the 3rd time? He's chanting straight through the middle of it.
I heard you,
See,
man.
there he is, chanting straight through the middle of it. Devastating argument, 33rd repetition of it. He needs to chant straight through the middle of it. Yeah. In order to have a horizon on a sphere, it's curving away from you. It's a curved Earth horizon. It's an Earth curve horizon. It's definitely not straight. It's not apparently straight. It's refracted to all fuck because of the black swan rebuttal that you give us. And it's never straight because it's curved. So this angle measuring device does not work on a spherical surface, Virus. 34 times.
Your line of
See,
sight.
chanted through every word of it. 33rd and 34th repetition were met with fundamentalist religious zealots chanting straight through the middle of them.
I heard you.
Oh, right. So the fact that you heard me meant that you could chant through it for the 34th time, like you did for the other 31 times that I said it prior.
Can I have a conversation with 10th?
What, do you think that having a conversation with 10th while I repeat my devastating argument for the 34th time is appropriate? I just think it's you chanting straight through the devastating argument that you haven't acknowledged. Because you've lost. You can't get a curved adjacent to work with a sextant. That would be how it would operate on a sphere. You've told us it must be done on a flat Earth. It's easier. We've pointed out that no, if you were actually on a sphere, you wouldn't be telling us how you need to do this on a flat Earth. You'd be justifying how you did do it on a sphere. The reality is you've already told us is they don't do it on a sphere. It's easier on a flat plane. Why? Well, because it can't be done on a sphere, because you can't use the curved adjacent to get an angle from a sextant.
That's not why.
Laugh it up.
pretty
Maybe
much
tell me you're not
what-
going to be thinking about this as you
That's pretty
toddle
much
off to
what he said.
Snoozeville later this evening. Won't be thinking about this though, will you? That little laugh, yeah? yeah, oh dear.
And the dip angle correction takes away line of sight.
I don't even know why she's getting lost in the argument when there's a perfectly fine baller rebuttal to all of this. I don't understand. Like, Akumo Virus, you're doing a really shitty job, right? Constantly just using your own character flaws to try to attract sympathy to get around the situation. It's not actually making an argument for your side.
Nobody wants
Okay.
sympathy, and
you
your
don't
argument
talk-
isn't being read out. Could you at least hear my arguments first before I start to, attack something that I never gave?
Oh, get this little old chestnut again. So when I just took you twice with you lying about not getting the opportunity to make your argument and me pointing out that you started off by measuring an angle, you called it, and I clarified what it was. You're now going to go back to the I didn't get chance to make my argument even though my argument was made, it was listened to, and the flaws within it that used two straight lines were pointed out when the question on the table was how'd you get a curved adjacent to give you a vertices to measure an angle. Yeah, it definitely did come through, Virus, and your chanting through this right now won't work either. You definitely did have it repeated back to you about 10 minutes ago. You lied about it, then I repeated it and took you through the hand steps, motions of you conceding while you chant through me yet again that you are now lying and you did get to make your argument, and you chanting through it's not going to change that. Chanting through the middle of me pointing out how you're lying about not getting an opportunity to make an argument isn't going to work. Okay, scumbag?
What's my argument?
Yeah, you just chanted straight through the middle of me pointing out that you did get to make your argument. I took you through it 10 minutes ago. Now you're going to ask me what that argument is, so I can confirm again that this is a lie when you say you haven't got to make your argument. You're going to ask me to repeat your argument back for a third time, proving that this is in fact a lie you're now conjuring about not getting to make your argument, even though you've already used it and I've already refuted it. And no matter how many times I point that out, you're just going to chant through the middle of me. Right, Virus?
What is it?
Sorry, when I took you through you claiming that you measure it, that was the start of your argument. I clarified what it was when you made the measurement, and it was the measurement with the sextant. Comprende? We went through this 10 minutes ago, you lying scum.
That wasn't my argument.
So it was your argument then?
Wasn't my argument.
So that was your argument, the one you're currently lying about not getting the opportunity to make?
It wasn't my argument.
So when you made that argument, that wasn't your argument. You were just shooting the breeze with us.
What you said was...
Sorry, what I said and went through with you as you made the argument wasn't your argument. That's your current position. You lying piece of shit.
What you repeated...
Sorry, don't chant through me, pointing out you lie, and start talking middle of my sentence like you're doing now. Don't do that. I'm pointing out that you have made an argument. I have ripped it to shreds, and now for the third time in a row, you are chanting through the middle of me pointing out that you did make an argument and I did refute it as you made the argument with an angle called it in quotes. And I had to clarify what it was. That's the fourth time I've done this to challenge you lying about not getting an opportunity to make a rebuttal. You have. You have made your argument. I did listen to it. Then 3 times you've had to lie about not getting the opportunity. Yeah? Cry foul. Yeah? Call foul when you're diving on the floor. Yeah? No, you did make your argument. Yes, it did get ripped to shreds, and it started with making an angle measurement. after the declaration that this is easier done on a flat Earth because it can't be done with a curved adjacent? 35 times.
If you would stop using the tactic of knocking him out every time he makes that claim, then he might have a chance to make that claim nonsensical as it is.
What?
He's already done it several times, and he just keeps forgetting.
Can I ask him a
Can't
couple
even
of
repeat my
questions?
claim back to me. What the hell? Y'all can't even repeat my claim back. Like, my argument is simple. Your
Akim
line of
virus.
sight is straight. That's all it is.
Virus.
What's up?
Akim virus.
What's up?
You know the line that goes from your eye when you're using a sextant? One line goes from the eye, from your eyes to the chosen celestial body. The other line goes down to the horizon, yes? You agree to that?
Yes, one line to the horizon, the other to the celestial body. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and there are two straight lines, yes? You would agree, yes? Two straight lines?
Yes.
Yeah. The line that goes down to the horizon, you then do a correction called height of eye correction. Do you know what that is?
Yeah, is that the depth correction? You're talking about the one where you lower it from your eye down to the ground?
Down to the water underneath the boat. Yeah, exactly. Yes. So you're making a right angle between your zenith, the person using the sextant. Their zenith is the vertical, and the horizontal is the line that's going from underneath the boat at the water straight out to the horizon. That's two straight lines, a right angle. Yes. You agree?
Yeah, that's after you but that's after you make the corrections. Before the corrections,
After the correction.
the lines are still straight.
After the correction, yeah. After the
Hold
correction,
on, okay,
yes,
hold
you
on.
make a right angle. Height of eye correction makes it a right angle. Yes.
Okay, I'm gonna
You
say
agree?
no. That doesn't make it a right angle. You already have your right angle by
It does.
establishing
That's the
your
whole point of
horizontal
it.
and you have your
But that's the
you
whole
have your
point of it.
horizontal and you have your vertical. That's you can
Yeah,
get
that's the
that
right
from
angle.
either sextant as well too.
That's a right angle. You have a horizontal and a vertical. The height of eye correction makes a right angle. Right, your zenith
No,
is the vertical, and the line from underneath your boat to the horizon is. One second. Your zenith is the vertical, and the line from underneath your boat at the water to the horizon is the horizontal. Now, you know the GP of the star that you've chosen. You know the GP, the ground position of the. Well, the zenith from that star to the GP is a vertical, and the line that goes from that GP to meet the line that's going from underneath your boat, right? That line, that vertical and that horizontal makes a second 90-degree angle. So you have two 90-degree angles. One that you've made with the height of eye correction, and one at the GP of the star. So how the two right angles, right? How the two right angles, now right angles, that means two absolute horizontals and two verticals. How do they become a curved line?
Because the distance to the GP is curved by according to the fact that there's 69 miles per degree. That translates to something being curved.
Hold on. No. Sorry, Brian. Brian, just 1 second. Just 1 second. Virus, can you not hear me? Sorry, when you say 1 degree for every 69 miles, where are you getting that measurement?
Can I just continue my talk with Brian?
Where do you get that measurement? You've just claimed as a response that it's 1 degree for every 69 miles. All right.
You can get it from
how do you measure? Don't chant through my question. Chant through it. Devastating. That's twice. Start counting these off, shall I? It's twice. See if he has to chant through it 35 times like the last one. Right, Virus? Third attempt. I'm waiting for you to start chanting through me in advance, Virus.
Can I speak with Brian, please?
No, you can shut up. You going to answer, Virus?
What's your question?
Where'd you get the angle?
The same place you would have got the angle using a
You said
section
1
or
degree
or something.
for every 69 miles. Where did you measure that angle? Where's that being measured?
You
can measure it from any celestial body.
You seem to have got farther away from your mic. I can't quite hear what you're saying. Do you want to answer? Just point out for the audience, this is now the 4th attempt. You said it's 1 degree.
You can literally get that from any celestial body.
You're busted. How did you get the elevation angle?
What
There you
elevation
go.
angle?
Everyone else,
The
shut
elevation
up.
angle, the 1 degree
Everybody
every
else, be
69
quiet.
miles, you moron.
Hello, whoever that is. QE, please. 4th attempt. You said 1 degree for every 69 miles. Where did you measure that angle?
You can get that from any celestial body in the sky.
How did you measure it with the celestial body?
You could use a section or a theodolite.
So that's
whatever
2
you
straight
think.
lines. So your elevation angle's from a flat plane then?
Nope, never said that.
Sorry, I'll ask a 5th time. You have stated 1 degree for every 69 miles. Where did you get that measurement? That 1 degree measurement, where did it come from? What was used? What were the 2 straight lines used to measure that claim of 1 degree every 69 miles? Where was that angle measured? That's 5th time.
You can use the theodolite with any celestial body.
Okay, so we're pointing at the celestial body for 1 line. Where's the 2nd line coming from?
That's all you need.
Sorry, an angle isn't 1 fucking line. 6th, do you need it a 6th time?
So,
You need it a 6th time, because you've just given me 1 line. Angle, 1 degree. That's the angle you're claiming. 6th attempt, with him chanting straight through the middle of the 6th attempt. 6th attempt, chanting ensues.
Never mind, there's no point.
Never mind. No, I'm going to keep going, Virus. This is now the 6th attempt. You said 1 degree for every 69 miles. That's your claim. I asked where you got that angle measurement from. You said you can get it from any celestial body. I listened to your reply. I've pointed out that's the 1st line. Coincidentally, Virus, for my audience on screen, the line that Virus has just described at the point that he's saying, I give up, because he's lost, is this line to the celestial object he's described. Now, where'd you get the 2nd nice, straight, flat line that's depicted on screen for my audience, Virus? Or are you giving up on the 6th attempt where you lose?
I'm just tired of you cutting me off, that's all. It's getting old.
Right, 7th time. Where'd you get the angle? You have claimed to Brian 1 degree every 69 miles. You've given me 1 of the straight lines required for an angle. Where'd you get the 2nd? That's 7 times. Giving up? Running away?
You take your theodolite, you aim it at the star before you start moving.
Yeah, we got that. It's on screen. I've even shown the audience and made it absolutely clear where this 1st line comes from. We know that line comes from there. Yeah, we're all clear and all square on you pointing at a celestial object and getting a straight line from it. 8th attempt. Where'd you get the 2nd line for that angle? It's 2 straight lines in an angle. Where'd you get the 2nd one, Virus?
Have I said that I'm adding a 2nd line yet?
Yeah, that's what an angle is. When you said 1 degree for every 69 miles, yeah, that's what an angle is. Are you suddenly retarded again because it's a difficult globe-destroying question? Suddenly retarded and don't understand what an angle is. Where'd you get the 2nd line? Yeah, that would be when you said angle, when you said 1 degree every 69 miles. That's 2 straight lines. You've told us where the 1st one comes from and then told you it's just time to give up.
Okay, look, you draw both your lines to the star.
Oh, I see. So both lines to the star, that's 0 degrees.
Yes, is that...
So when you said 1 degree for every 69 miles, you were just talking complete nonsense and you're actually drawing 2 straight lines to the same thing, giving you 0 degrees. Are you retarded?
You got it.
Sorry, you've said you draw 2 straight lines to the same thing, that's 0 degrees. You said 1 degree for every 69 miles. Now, not 0 degrees, 2 straight lines. Chant through me, bitch, chant through me. It's only the 9th repetition of the same question, and somebody in Discord has now had to step in, because previously, while I just closed the line as he chanted through me, someone in Discord has said, sod this. Why is he chanting through now the 9th repetition? Why is he doing that? Yeah, because it's absolutely devastating for a globe. 2 straight lines, that's what you need. He's told us where the 1st one comes from. Where'd you get the 2nd? Given that the original question he had 35 times was, how would you get this angle if this line was curved? Well, you wouldn't. So, you've got 1 degree every 69 miles. Where'd you get the 2nd line for this 1 degree angle that you're measuring, Virus? It's 9 times.
You must have talked to my answer and missed it.
Do you want to maybe
sorry.
back 16 feet away from your mic while you mutter down it, bitch? Nice and loud and
Nah,
clear
Finn,
for us. Where'd you get the second
you
line?
talked to my answer and you completely missed it.
Oh, did I? What, as you backed 16 feet away? Oh, I think Virus has won. Let's break out the champagne. He won.
I was right here. I don't care about a win. I was right here at the phone when I gave you my answer, but you was talking midway through.
Sorry, you fuckwit clown. Where'd you get the second line? You've told us you've got a line to the celestial body. Where's the second one coming from? 10 times.
I already told you.
You already told me, then get lost. You already told me you were giving up at that point. You've also told me you draw a second line to the same thing. That's 0 degrees. So, you haven't got a second line unless you've got a flat plane beneath your feet, Virus. Yeah, it's now 10 times, like last time. When I get to 10, I stop asking it as a question and start stating it as a fact. Yeah, there's no curved adjacent for this angle measurement on screen. You see that? That angle? Yeah, that's 2 straight lines. But obviously this line that's ascertained by way of a horizon measurement in this sextant is assuming there's a straight line to get 90 degrees to this star, Virus. Yeah? That second line's a straight flat baseline. It's not curved adjacent. It's a straight flat baseline. Like you told us when you told us it was easier to do it this way. Yeah? But when it comes to it being on screen and you telling us about a 1 degree for every 69 miles, yeah? You don't seem to want to tell us where you get that 1 degree from. You just want to tell us about this line to the celestial object and then chant straight through the middle of me asking 11 times. See, he's chanting straight through the middle of me. See, I've opened his line, ladies and gentlemen, just so you can hear what happens every time I repeat this devastating point. He just chants. I mean, later in the show, he'll accuse me of not letting him speak while he's chanting through the middle of the devastating point I'm trying to make for the 11th time. That would be to say that this line is flat, Virus. There he goes, straight on server mute. Somebody has had to restrain him in Discord because he won't shut up while I make the point for the 11th time, right, Virus? Coward. Yeah, you won't be thinking about this later on tonight, will you? This 90 degree that you're all told not to talk about, and this second straight flat line that's measured with a sextant. That's the one you won't talk about, and I'm about to ask you about 11 times while you chant through me, Virus. This straight flat line, not a curved adjacent. This isn't a sphere measuring this right-angled triangle there, Virus. It's a straight flat baseline. This definitely isn't going to work on a sphere. It's the same point I repeated 35 times to you earlier on in this show. This 90 degree isn't capable of getting ascertained with a curved adjacent either. Earth must be flat for this to work. Like you assumed when you told us. It's just assumed flat. It's easier. Yeah? So, second line. Virus. When you said 1 degree every 69 miles, where'd you get the second line from for that claim? Go. It's 12 times.
I just told you. You draw both lines to the celestial body.
That's 0 degrees. Second time he tried that fuckwit stupidity with me, and I've told him already. If I draw a line to this and then draw another line to it, there's no angle. They're both the same line. There isn't 1 degree there. He's just a fuckwit.
Sorry,
chanted through my rebuttal. Chanted straight through it. What a coward. So I'm challenging what you've just said for the second time. Chant through me. Server mute that bitch, please. So, no, server mute this bitch, because he will chant through it. It's the first time I'm saying it. Thank you. Had to server mute him, audience. Wouldn't shut up. Hey, man, maybe write in the comments about how I've got a mute button. That wasn't me doing that. I don't mute these fuckers. I have to ask someone in Discord, mainly because I can't be asked to do it. But literally, he will not shut up while I point out that this straight, flat baseline, the one he conceded at the beginning of the show, would be easier to do this. But then later claimed that it's the same on a sphere. Well, no, on a sphere, you'd have a curved adjacent. Something I had to point out to him 35 times with him doing what he's done now, while there's somebody on my side actually willing to shut him up while I point this out to him. The second line he won't talk about. Yeah, he said, oh, I've just got the same straight line twice. That won't give him his 1 degree every 69 miles, will it? So where does he get the second line from? Well, he doesn't get it from a sphere. He gets it from a flat plane. Obviously, in the globe Earth, anti-flat Earth argument that he'll try and make, he needs to move this position to the centre of a sphere to make that claim. Not allowing him to make the measurement in the first place, and he damn well knows it. So what's the order of the day when you lose as an anti-flat earther? Well, chant. Maybe moan that you've had to be shut up with server mute. You may speak.
Why are you changing my argument?
Right, I ask where you get the second line for your 1 degree every 69 miles claim. You say 1 degree every 69 miles. I say, where'd you get that 1 degree from? And now you're asking me why I'm changing your argument. I'm not. I'm clarifying where you get the 1 degree from that you claimed. You haven't told me yet. You said 2 straight lines to the same celestial object.
Yeah, I did. So don't change.
Yes, so how do my balls taste there, Virus?
Yeah.
Yeah, that ain't giving you 1 degree every 69 miles. 2 straight lines to the same thing is 0 degrees.
I know.
Yeah, so why are you telling me that as an answer for where you get your 1 degree every 69 miles? Is it because that's assumed to be working from a centre of a sphere Earth now, Virus? Yeah, we all know it is, you stupid clown. We know your argument. We know you've lost. I know I've won. It's on screen for my audience. You can't have a curved adjacent to do this triangulation.
1 degree, 69 miles. I just gave you a degree rating.
No, you didn't. You told me you drew 2 straight lines to the celestial object.
0.
I'd like to question him on his 69 miles claim.
He hasn't told me where he get the measurement from. He said 1 degree every 69 miles to you, Brian. When it gets to these points, which is where we win, because you can't have a curved adjacent, you see, that's where he starts chanting. It's the summary of his loss. So that's where he's going to start talking, middle of my sentence. Yep.
I think...
you can't have a curved adjacent. Yeah, I'll summarise it with Arwin doing it. You can't have a curved adjacent, Brian. That's where we win. As soon as he says 1 degree every 69 miles, that's it. Where'd you get your 1 degree from? From a flat plane. That's where he gets it from. Unless he gets to beg the question that the angle's no longer being measured at all and is taken from the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. Now, obviously, he's not going to get to do that here. He'll just get asked, where did he get the measurement from? And we've got an endless cycle of him telling us that we'll get a 0 degree measurement. Well, 2 straight lines to the same object. Well, that's not going to give you 1 degree every 69 miles. Yeah, Virus?
Does he not realise, Nathan?
The celestial sphere rotates consistently 1 degree every 69 miles.
Nathan, does he not understand, or does he not know, that the distance from the observer to the GP is a straight line measurement? Does he not understand that?
He told us that. So he literally told us that it's easier to do it that way for that reason. So yes, he does know that. He's just in cognitive pain. He can concede that you need a flat plane to do triangulation. He'll even explain that when you're doing it on a globe, it's easier to do it on a flat plane.
And does he realise that his 69 miles per degree originates as a flat measurement?
Yeah, that's where we're at, Brian. I'm asking him where he gets the second line from. He gives up, chants through me, tries to obfuscate away from the question, tells me I'm changing his question. Yeah, that's where we're at. Good summary, though, Brian. Thanks.
Basically, what he's saying to you, Nathan, is that it works on a flat plane because that's how you do it. But it can also work on a globe somehow.
No, not somehow. When he moves this measurement to the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. But that's why I'm asking him where he gets the second line from. And he isn't telling us.
It's based. His argument is based on the celestial sphere orientation, right?
No, it's not.
Baldwin's argument
it's
too.
not.
He said it exactly right.
Where'd you get the second line from? 1 degree every 69 miles. Okay, I know what a degree is. I know what it measures it. Sextants measure it. How'd you get the second line? What's the second line for this claim?
I already gave you the second line.
Oh, well, then why haven't you toddled off in total self-assurance that you don't need to ponder this later if you've already won? Why would you even be here? Go away and declare victory. Go and sip champagne. You won. You told us.
I always study your tactics. I like your tactics.
Tactics isn't what's happening here. I'm asking you about your claim of a 1 degree for every 69 miles measurement. Where'd you get the measurement to say it's 1 degree?
What are you going to do now? So you see how I'm attacking your argument?
Let me finish before you cut me off. You draw both lines to the celestial body.
That's 0 degrees. That's the third time you've used this shit argument.
So that's correct.
Sorry, so this shit argument, that's correct. Yeah. Shit argument, that's not giving you a second angle measurement. You need 2 straight lines. Not 1 to the same object. That doesn't give you an angle.
Please let me finish, Nathan.
Sorry, you just said you drew 2 lines to the same object. That isn't giving you an angle.
You're never going to get it if you don't let me finish. You take both lines. 0 your theodolite at the star. So it's 0 degrees when you're looking at the star. That's basically what you're doing. Drawing both lines to the celestial body. As you move,
How'd you do that?
the lines will
How'd you do that?
separate. One will stay at its
Hello? How do you do that?
One will stay at its
How do
starting
you
point.
do
Don't cut
that?
me. Nathan, let me
How do you do
finish.
it? Don't just say you
Let
zero
me
it.
finish.
Tell me how you do it.
Theodolite. A theodolite, you can zero it out at the position you want it to as a starting point.
And where is that?
At the celestial body. Oh my God, Neil.
You zero it out at the star. Citation, please.
You're drawing two lines to the one object.
Yes, I know.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it's a
That's the
retard.
point, because that's your
Yes,
starting
you
point.
know. Yes,
That's
you
your
know.
starting point.
Yes.
Yes.
That means that your first line is the same like a second line.
That's the point. Oh my
That's the
God.
point. That's the one, huh?
That doesn't give you an angle. That's the fifth time I've given him. He's given us that crap argument. He's still clinging on to it like if he repeats it 5 more times, somehow it'll slip by us. That doesn't give you an angle. I've repeated the rebuttal 5 times, Virus. No, that's the end of it. Yeah, he doesn't have anything else. There's nothing else to give us. He gets the second line from a flat baseline. That's what he's using. You point the horizon mirror at the horizon, and that gives you a 90-degree position to the GP of the star, which is below the star. That's 90 degrees. That can only and will only ever work on a flat plane. That's why he told us at the beginning, well, it's easier if it's flat. What, easier to get 90 degrees with a right angle triangle? Yeah, it's the only way you can get that. Not curved adjacents, the thing you wouldn't concede 35 times and had to chant through. No, that doesn't give you 90 degrees to this star here. And it doesn't work. What about 2 straight lines straight to the star? Does that give you an angle? No, that don't give you jack. That's what he's on, the tip he's trying to ride at the moment. 2 straight lines to this. Well, that doesn't give you anything, Virus.
He can't use his zenith either, because then he'd have to assume the sky was flat to get that angle.
But come on, guys.
No, with that lines, you can get one line or 2 parallel lines and nothing else.
So, to summarise, the sextant can only and will only work on a flat plane. And you know what? It does work.
Optically. Right, Akuma, just concede you can't use optics to measure the Earth, right? You can only derive it, like you said, from the celestial sphere star orientation in relation to the Earth, because otherwise it makes no sense, right? You can't. 69 miles is enough for terrestrial refraction to set in, so you can't use geometry to prove that 1 degree difference. You can only derive it from the celestials.
What? I don't know how you came to that conclusion whatsoever.
Akum, where is saying for sextant that you use one line to the star, and then you use again one line to the star? Where is that saying for the sextant?
I didn't use the sextant. I used the theodolite. I didn't use a sextant to try to get 69 degrees.
But we are speaking about sextant. Are we speaking 1 hour about sextant, or we are speaking about giraffe?
We was talking about the sextant until somebody asked me how did I get 69 miles per degree.
We are speaking about. Is this show about sextant?
No, somebody asked me about 69 miles per degree.
Oh, this is not about sextant. You are speaking about something. You are speaking about something else.
Yeah, and how'd you measure that? How'd you measure the 1 degree difference? How'd you measure the 1 degree difference?
Yes, by having your starting point at the star's location. As you move, that starting point, one line is going to stay at the starting point, and the other one's going to follow the star.
So drop towards the horizon. So drop
1 degree, 2 degree, whatever.
Do it in what direction? Towards the horizon? Towards the baseline of the angle that you're measuring it with?
It can go either way. That's why you start off.
Sorry,
at
so
the star.
towards the horizon, the baseline then?
It can go up or down.
So yes, it could go up in relation to what? Third time. The horizon, the baseline for this.
It's starting point. No, it's starting point.
Starting point. Okay, so if it goes up 1 degree, 1 degree in relation to what that is being measured?
It's starting point.
Yeah, and then you back away from it and say it's moved 1 degree. So 1 degree from the measurement along your baseline.
No, 1 degree from its starting point.
1 degree from its starting point, measured how?
By zeroing out at the star.
And so use it pointer compass, theodolite, you said, at the star. Yeah? Hello?
Yeah. Yeah.
You're going to mutter. Nice, clear answers, please. So you're pointing your theodolite at the star. Yeah?
Okay, yeah.
And then you're backing away from it.
Okay.
Hello?
Okay.
Right,
Keep
so you're
going.
backing away from it. The second measurement that you take, are you only referencing that star? Because to make that measurement and get a difference, you need a base for the angle difference. So where'd you get your baseline?
Point.
Chant through it.
It's
chant
starting...
through it. Chant through, straight through the concise question, I would. So, you've measured a difference, and you've zeroed out on the star with the theodolite. What's your baseline?
The star.
Star's not a baseline. That's what you're measuring. What's your baseline? Do you know what baseline is?
Starting point.
What's a baseline? What is a baseline?
It's starting point. The base of everything. The base of your information is your starting point.
And what's that?
The star's location.
No, that's what you're measuring.
Yeah, celestial drop.
Right, so you're measuring it from your position on the ground.
My position on the ground, starting point is where the star is.
I see. So when you move to the second position, what's the surface doing for your second measurement?
Oh, I don't know yet. We haven't.
You don't know? Surely you'd know that it's spherical. You're telling me you don't know? Why wouldn't you be saying you don't know when that's what you're here to claim? That seems strange.
Because we haven't gotten to that point yet.
What, when we're measuring an angle on a flat plane? Yeah, we have. We've already measured an angle to this star. It needs a baseline. You haven't answered where you got it yet.
We haven't got to that point yet.
What, where we measure an angle? Yeah, we have. Measured an angle to a star. We're backing away from it. And now we just need to establish a baseline to get the second measurement. You just yet to answer where you got it.
Gotten to that point yet.
Oh, right. Well, we are now. Well, let's say pretend, metaphorically, we've backed away from it on our boat. We've stuck it in reverse. We've backed away from it. Going to measure that second angle now. Where'd you get the baseline?
Your baseline was the starting point of the star.
No, that's the thing you measured third time.
Yes.
So your position is where you're measuring it from. You understand that, Virus? 2 lines. First position is position A to the star, which we're going to call C. Then we back away and we measure it again from position B to the star. You're saying your theodolite shows a 1 degree difference. What's the baseline?
Yeah.
What's the baseline?
It's starting point.
You keep saying this. I'm going to kick you out.
And I keep giving you the answer. I'm not.
Yeah, saying the star, the thing you're measuring from your position on the ground, and then backing away from it. That's 2 positions on the ground.
It's gonna be 2 positions on the ground, regardless.
Right. So what are they doing? What are they doing?
It's moving with you, just like it would at any other angle.
And are they curving? Curving. It's curving, right? Curving away from you, right? Curving backwards as you back away from the star, right?
No, we haven't.
No! Welcome to Flat Earth. You're fucking right it ain't curving away from you because you couldn't get a straight baseline to make this angle measurement and this claim. It has to be flat for you to measure these angles. That's right. Definitely not curving away from you, Virus. Yeah, we know too. But don't worry. You don't need to ponder this after the fact.
I won't.
Yeah, of course you won't. No. It'll be us pondering it because you're all living rent-free in our heads when we point out that you can't get a curved adjacent. That when you're backing away and measuring a 1 degree difference, you need a flat baseline to do that. Yeah, that's a flat Earth proof right there, Virus. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to lose any sleep over this. But I'm sure when you tell us simultaneously that you ponder this stuff and think about how it's tactics that mean you can only get an angle measurement from a flat baseline. Yeah, that'd be my tactics that you need to go away and ponder, not my devastating argument that ripped apart your globe, Faith.
It's your tactics.
Yeah, it's my tactics. Yeah.
It's giving me an argument I never made.
Oh, right. You didn't claim 1 degree every 69 miles requiring a flat baseline to make the assertion if you're measuring angles on a surface of any description. Just doesn't work on a curved surface. That's a tactic. No, you seem to be confusing tactics, the things you're employing when you chant through all of these arguments, with devastating arguments.
No, it's your false argument that you gave me.
Or how's it false?
Your false baseline.
How's it false? How's it false when I say you need a straight, flat baseline? How is that false?
Because
Explain how you can get an angle with a curved adjacent.
Because you think I do when I don't.
Sorry, not what I think you do when you don't. How'd you get an angle with a curved adjacent?
You still never explained that.
Sorry, it's going to be telling me what I don't do? Or is this going to be a tactic by you to get away from the question that's being asked about how you would acquire an angle from a curved adjacent to make my statement that you need a straight baseline to be false, as you have stated? Want to actually provide an argument? Maybe a tactic or two. Maybe a swerve ball for me. A tactic. Yeah? Give me a tactic.
No,
as opposed to a rebuttal
so
to my devastating argument.
I never claimed that. I don't know what you're talking about.
You didn't claim blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Where'd you get an angle if you've got a curved adjacent? Answer, you don't. This can't work on a sphere. You need a flat baseline. Hence the reason Virus disclaimed that it would be easier to do this on a flat Earth. And that's why they do it that way. Because it's easier. No, it's because you can't get an angle from a curved baseline.
What is this baseline you're talking about?
That would be the surface of the Earth that you think is curved. You think you've got a spherical surface beneath your feet, and this proves otherwise.
Never used that when it came to 69 miles per degree.
No, you couldn't, because when you claimed that, you needed to juxtapose that angle measurement to work from the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. But obviously, you were claiming that measurement while we're measuring things. And when I ask you how you measure it, you need a flat line to measure it with. So you've got to measure it first before you can move it to the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth and hope we don't notice that it's no longer an angle that's measured on the surface with a flat baseline, that it's actually coming from the centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. No, you never got to make that argument. That's right, Virus.
What's coming from the centre of Earth?
Nothing. We don't have a centre of a presupposed spherical Earth. Otherwise, triangulation wouldn't work. You'd have a curved adjacent.
What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, metaphor me. Make it seem like you don't know what I'm on about. That's right. Well, you know what you can do, as you don't seem to understand what I'm on about, Virus? You can ponder it. You can think about it later. Yeah? While I'm living rent-free in your head. Obviously, you can tell everyone around you that you're just thinking about my tactics. Yeah? But that argument that I just made that you didn't understand, yeah, you can go away and ponder that, sunshine. Yeah? Have a little think about it. Yeah? Me, I'm going to go away and nail my wife. But with that, I'm going to say a huge, massive, enormous thank you to both Discord and G+ panels for making today's after show possible. And of course, a massive thank you to all of you in either Nathan Oakley 1980 or Nathan Oakley Premiering streams. Hopefully smashing the super chat, liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, hitting the PayPal link, and all that good stuff. Also, below this video, you can get £50 for swapping your UK electricity supplier to Octopus Energy. And this is of particular note if you drive an electric vehicle. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I will see you all in the next video.